I don't really believe in maybes, and I tell my girl this all the time. We don't say can't. We don't say that we can't do something. We don't say that we can't do this. We can't get to that.
Yeah.
You're always able to get to something. You're always able to do this. You're always able to, strive to be better and strive to be that person that, you see yourself being in the future. Because when you focus and dwell on who you are right now and who you were in the past, you never tend to get to the person that you want to be in the future.
Man, welcome to the show, bro. We got Dre on the show. Let's go ahead and give him a little round of applause.
Good to be here.
The man, the myth, the legend. I gotta say, first off, I'm gonna follow you back. Now that we can slow down, I like. See, this is what the thing is. Like, we all got so much going on. We're so busy and like this, that, whatever. And then like the social, it's like 3-second scroll, 3-second scroll.
Yes,
you
bro.
know?
What do they call it? Doom scrolling.
Yeah, dude, doom scrolling, bro.
Scrolling.
And so sometimes we gotta slow down and be like, all right, let's just chill out. Let's just slow down. Like, let's just have a moment. And that's where it's like, when you come in, I was like talking to my wife, MVD now, the ID shit, like legal aliens, whatever.
Yeah.
But Malik, man, I want to say shout out to Malik, because if it wasn't for him, Dre wouldn't be on. So let's go. Shout out, bro. I appreciate you, my guy. Malik, Rob came on. So this is how this podcast was all like basically orchestrated, how it came together organically. And my whole thought process is that like, and we talked about this before getting on the show, is like, just make it be organic.
Yeah.
Because you were filling out the questionnaire, and I'm like, I'm not going to like, all right, question number 1.
Question number 2. Yeah, exactly.
So, oh, really? Okay, great.
Right. Robotic, and just, just feels like, it just feels like the vibe is like, kind of orchestrated a little bit, kind of scripted.
And this is the thing, I think, and for people out there too, like, it's all about intention.
Yes.
What's the intention? And I know that like, the original podcast for me, the intention was like, oh shit, it's COVID. Like, right. I can't meet people like this.
Right. Exactly.
So online it is. Let's interview them. Let's make them feel special. Give them that spotlight.
Right.
And if there's synergy, maybe we could be of service on the Liftoff agent side.
Amazing. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, exactly.
You feel me? So that's how we started it. And then from there, it was like this whole show, like, and I tell people that are watching right now, like, hey, if you want to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, cool. We'll be able to serve more people. We'll get more, viewers. That'd be greatly appreciated.
So that means like and
bless.
Subscribe.
Let's go.
That means like and subscribe.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm really big on, just trying to bring a positive vibe and a positive, type of energy to a scene, and just, to a different type of space, because I feel like where we are right now in Arizona, there's always been bad light shedded, or shed on our state. I really just don't enjoy it, to where it's like we're looked at as a state to where, you come down here and, they trying to make it to where it's like, now if you come down to Arizona, you're gonna get shot up. Or if you come down to Arizona, you're gonna go to like a bad outing, or there's nothing to do out in Arizona. I hate that one. There's nothing to do in Arizona. I'd be like, bro, you have to go places, bro.
You gotta check it out.
Tucson, like I'm saying, like there's stuff to do out in Arizona. There's really stuff to do out in Arizona. You guys have to come out and check it out.
I always hear like, oh, it's a desert.
Yeah.
You guys got water? Yeah, I got water. I heard you talking about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like, you got mountains? Like, you got snow?
Exactly.
Yeah, we got that shit out here. But like, it's cool. It's the desert. We ain't got none of that shit. Like, don't even come out here. But no, I feel like
you go to Flagstaff, you're gonna see the snow for sure.
Exactly. I like strawberry and pine. That's a little secret though. So forget that I told you that. But I feel like in any area that you go to, you're gonna find whatever it is, like the good, the bad, the medium, the ugly, the whatever. Yeah. And so and that's where I feel like for the viewers listening out there, I mean, association's real.
Yeah.
Influence is real.
Most definitely.
You feel me? And so that's where I feel like when you think about, for me, it's like I'm a huge personal development dude.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, this is the next book. I'm doing 3 a month, and here's my goals and whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's so good to like check ourselves.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I'm a big believer. So I'm a big faith follower. I believe in Christ.
Amen.
And I am very, I'm very what's the word? I am very pushed by Christ to be able to not be able to, but I'm very pushed by Christ to go out and talk about it and be able to tell other people about Christ and just what the Lord has done for me, and certain things that He has done for me, which is very positive, and very like very very foreseeing in the future is me checking myself, like how you just said, like sometimes as a human, I'm very flawed into checking myself. So sometimes I have to have something there that is going to help me, look at myself and look at how I'm doing things, you know what I'm saying? And tell me, hey, you got to be better. You got to, tomorrow you should strive to be better than how you were yesterday. And that's a quote that I try to follow all the time. So
I love that. I love that. And I just want to point out real quick, I love how you were very conscious of the words that you put out. Because I don't think people realize that like every word is an affirmation.
Oh yes, bro. Yeah, the tongue is powerful.
You feel me? Like I catch myself, and I don't know if you can relate to this out there, and maybe you can catch yourself now. I'll be saying something, I'll be like typing a text,
yes,
and I'm using words, and I'm like not definitive specific words. I'm using like kind of like just or maybe or
yeah,
if this works for you, instead of being like this is what it is, this is what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I will see you at 5 o'clock at, or
right.
I might see you at 5.
Right. Exactly. Because saying it like that, you're not gonna see him at 5.
Yeah, exactly.
I might do this. I might do. You're not like when I say I might go to the gym today.
Yeah.
I know I'm not gonna go to the gym.
Dude,
I have to say you're going to the gym.
Dude, how many people out there can relate to this? How many people say I say that? Oh, I might go.
You if you say you might go in the morning when you wake up in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And that feeling, that's like, hey, do you want to get in the gym right now? And it's like, I kind of don't want to. If you keep thinking on that feeling, you're definitely not gonna go. You have to tell yourself, yo, go to the gym.
Liftoff, let's go, bro. 100%, man. And that's where I feel like it's yes or no. There's no maybe.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's what I want to hold myself accountable is like, there ain't no maybe. It's just yes or no. Let's just do it or not do it.
Yeah, quote, man. Yeah, it's definitely just a yes or no. I don't really believe in maybes, and I tell my girl this all the time. We don't say can't. We don't say that we can't do something. We don't say that we can't do this. We can't get to that.
Yeah.
You're always able to get to something. You're always able to do this. You're always able to, strive to be better and strive to be that person that, you see yourself being in the future. Because when you focus and dwell on who you are right now and who you were in the past, you never tend to get to the future. You never tend to you never tend to get to the person that you want to be in the future. So you always want to make sure you.
Let's go, bro. Yeah. It's funny that you said like your future self, because I'm reading the book right now, and this is the hype that I'm on with the whole like next book of the week or whatever.
For sure,
and so it's Be Your Future Self.
Awesome. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And if you guys want to check it out, Be Your Future Self, where we at? The host, there it is. Be the Future self. And I don't know.
Cop that, man. You guys need to check that out.
Where the hell am I over here? I'm like hella jacked up. It's like, all right, zoomed over here on my forehead.
Right.
But I don't know. Sometimes the cameras get jacked.
Guys, check that out though. Seriously.
But there's a couple cool things in it that like resonate with me. And so, and if y'all want to take this action, take this practice, if you want to do it too, it's an exercise. And it says, your future self when you're a child. Would your child self look at you today and be like, wow, I'm inspired. like you're either on the right track or you're doing a really good job or whatever it is. And then you think about your future self. And would your future self be like, all right, you're doing good, you're on the right track, just keep going, keep moving forward, keep being consistent because you're going to get here.
Yeah.
And then we took it a step further. And so I basically, with my wife yesterday, we did this exercise and it was crazy. Like we both got into tears, the whole nine, bro.
Awesome.
And so it was basically writing yourself a note. And I wrote a note to myself from my perspective of my future self.
Yeah.
So my future self saying, and like the topic is like it says like the manifest legacy, a magical tale of faith, focus, and fulfillment is what it came. Like I used ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So I wrote everything out, kind of just like, just dump all the information. Went to ChatGPT and said, hey, can you make this more eloquent and fix the grammar because I was diagnosed with a learning disability too. So my ears and like reading and writing's not my thing.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So then I put it all out there, and then my wife did it too, and then it just wrote this like story, kind of like fairy tale, but like your manifestation and a letter from your future self as far as how is it going.
Really,
Dude,
that's
it
interesting,
was
dude.
so powerful, bro.
Yeah.
And because what I learned is that like we get caught up in the fact of like we're not where we want to be because.
Right.
And we
Yeah.
blame the because
Yes.
our mom or because our dad or because our circumstance because whatever.
Yeah.
And we forget that like, well, we can rewrite that, easier said than done.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I'm a big believer in like, looking at the, the I can't do this because, or looking at, like, I call them like what ifs.
Mm.
I don't like, looking at what ifs, because if I always look at what ifs, then tomorrow I'm gonna keep thinking about the what if.
Ooh.
So that's definitely like, I feel what you're saying on that, because like whenever I think about like, what if I could, do that? What if I could do that? You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
definitely like going back to like, the gym example. You know, if I think about, what if I could have hit that PR? What if I could have hit that certain, amount of weight,
Yep.
that I could have, that I maybe could be hitting, now, or, what if I could have hit that yesterday if I would have went to the gym? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you never want to have those type of thoughts. You never want to have those type of, notions in your mind, because then it starts to eat at you.
Ooh. And then you'd be on your deathbed, you'd be like,
yeah. And then it's like,
I wish. Regrets. Why didn't I not?
Mm-hmm.
I'm right there with you, bro. I'm the type of person that like, I'm gonna go fucking jump the deep end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If I can't swim, then whatever.
Yeah. My cousin used to say it's like, it's called taking the leap.
Yeah.
He was like, if you're gonna take that leap, shout out Forever Hughes, bro. But
hey, shout out, let's go.
Shout out, man. If you're gonna take that, he's told me like if you're gonna take that leap, you have to understand that when you take that leap, when people take it, you have a certain fight or flight mode that says, are you gonna fight to fly, or are you just gonna, cower out and let yourself drop? You know what I'm saying? And the moment that he told me that, I chose to take my flight. I chose to take my my leap, and I chose to get into it. Because I had my parents telling me, don't do music. I still, even to this day, sometimes have my parents, on me about, why do you do this? Why don't you go to school? Why do you, go get a job?
Go get a career.
Go do this. Yeah, a career, and, certain things that they've been taught, when they were children, and it's like, we're definitely in a different age now, to where, I have even friends, as we just, said, who are making great strides in their businesses and in their companies. And that's all because they decided to take that leap, So I would definitely encourage anybody, take that leap, bro. Take that leap.
Let's go. Let's go. And that's, so yes, you could say this is a podcast, but I like to say it's more of an experience than just a podcast. And I love taking practical actions. And so what I want you all to think about, and you can do this right now, pause the episode and come back, is go and check out Malik. Okay. Go to his episode. You can find his Instagram handle, all that right there. You're already watching this podcast. It's only on YouTube. Yeah. So it's not going to be rocket science. You see what he's up to and what he's doing. And what I'm getting at is that, like, look at Dre. Look, like I could see where you're destined to go based off your influence.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
You wouldn't be in this chair right now if it wasn't for Malik and what he was doing to show and share light on like where he's going, how he's doing it, what he's doing to do it. You know what I'm saying? And he's just very transparent, authentic, and open.
Right, man. Right.
And so when you do that, and then you come back to this episode, then ask yourself, like, okay, let me, and I'm gonna take it even further, because the gurus say, oh, like, show me your 5 friends and I'll show you where you're headed or whatever.
Yeah.
No, fuck that. Show me your Instagram.
Exactly.
Show me your followers, bro.
Yeah,
let me go. Let me your followers, bro.
Let me see.
What's up, bro?
Let me see that consistency. Let me see, like let me see the work that you put in. You know what I'm saying? That's most definite, and mainly that I would definitely encourage you guys to definitely go look at that episode too, because bro is just like I've known bro since high school, right? And like, real quick sidebar, bro is just a honest, like a honest to good guy, bro. Like, honestly, the last time that I saw him, I was in a bad headspace, and I didn't really get to, chop it up with him like that and, talk further on, how he was doing and stuff. It was really just, hey, how you doing? And, all right, Brody, I'll see you, but like, he's such, like, in a good headspace to where, he, like, some of the things that we all did as kids, like in high school, he's, talked about quitting all of those. He's talked about, staying with God. He's talked about staying consistent. He's done, his due diligence with his business. I think his business is now at 6 figs now. You know what I'm saying? Like every month. So, dude, like hitting milestones like that, and then being able to come from a certain city or state, and being able to say like hey man, I did this, all because I took that leap of faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, take a look at that episode. Like, he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy, man.
Let's go. No, I appreciate you going a little deeper because like I didn't really know, and so you all know this is 100% organic.
Yeah, man. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I saw Malik, and I'm here now. Liftoff.
We didn't even have a conversation before or anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like,
Yeah.
and Fridays for me are a little bit more of a chill day. And then I was talking to the wife about her stuff or whatever, and have a little lunch. And the next thing you know, I was like, oh, Dre's here. I gotta go, honey.
Right. Yeah, I woke up this morning like, oh, I got an interview. Let's get it.
Yeah,
I'm in there. Yep.
Yeah, and I appreciate you showing up. Shows a lot about your character. You know what I'm saying?
Man, of course.
And it's so true. Malik is a good dude. He's just a genuine, honest, open, loving, kind, caring person.
Yeah.
And so when I go to shows, because that's how I see him at different car shows, because of Supra, it's like you could just tell the way that he interacts, the way that he just is, and then he's a magnet, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's been like that since high school. He's been like,
really
he's been a very charismatic dude. I remember the homie. He used to call him Pure Money Malik. He was like, bro, Malik is gonna be that one. He's gonna be getting to the funds. But he's always been a humble guy though. Like there's been people in high school that we went to high school with.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm talking about they had money in high school and they were just some of the most arrogant people, So to see one of the guys that I know come out making good money, making good strides in his life and doing what he's doing, bro, and being a humble dude, you know what I'm saying? That's really good. That's really amazing to see, bro.
And speaking of like money, right? And there's that quote, like money makes people funny. And when I think about like old money or new money, right? Like old money is where you see the arrogance.
Yeah.
Because, and it's no fault for them, but I find it in my own situation with my daughter as I raise her to give her contrast so she sees, okay, we didn't come from this.
Right.
And where we came from. Or taking her to the Philippines and show her how people live out there.
That's good, man.
And she's seen it. And then when you have new money, and what I realized too, there are some arrogant, cocky motherfuckers that got the new money. But what I've realized is the real ones, the man upstairs gives them the challenges because I was arrogant as shit in my 20s. And I didn't come from money, but I just had ego.
Man.
And I had to get out of my own way and let that ego aside.
Yeah.
Because I like nice shit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah,
I mean, I took you a little tour around the house and you've seen the cars and what have you.
Beautiful house.
And thank you, man. I really appreciate that. And so now I'm at a point where it's about service and sharing and it's not about ego.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like,
amazing.
I 100% control my schedule, but there's something about service. That's why you're here.
Thank you.
And that's why we're doing this. You feel me? And that's why it's like, and I feel that. This is no... like there's nothing to be gained here besides a relationship and an opportunity to serve more people.
Right, exactly.
And if you look at my vision board, the first thing is help more people.
Ooh.
The first thing is help more people.
Yep. It's up there.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. And so this interchange of energy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As we vibe out, we're gonna be releasing some dopamine, so we're getting high over here.
You already know what it is. You already know. Off the nicest spliff.
The nice shit, yeah.
Off the nicest one.
And then from there, you know what I'm saying? We just connect with one person.
Yep. And then the next.
And then the next.
The next. And then
next.
It becomes a community.
Exactly.
Most definitely.
And this is the craziest part, bro. It ain't even like, and everyone out there, and I used to think it's always about, what you do.
Yeah.
I used to be in my 20s and like scream on the mountaintops and go to the gym and talk to everyone.
Yeah.
People don't care until they know you care.
Exactly, man. Like I never knew that until like, someone told me like, bro, like be silent, and I was like, what do you mean? He was like, bro, be silent, bro. Like people are like, if you keep saying what you're going to do, they're going to always think that you're not gonna be able to get to where you're doing, or you're not gonna do that because when you said it, you're not there, and so they think you're not gonna get there, not just because you said it right then and there, bro. Like a lot of people don't have the vision to see the vision that you have. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people don't have the vision to be able, or the capacity to be able to understand your vision. That's a real one, because some people think that, oh yeah, he's good, he's talented, he can get here, but then they don't think that you can be like the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? And you may think that you can be the greatest of all time, but explaining your hardships and what you go through to be able to get to where you at, and people seeing that you're not there yet, it's just gonna put doubt in their heart. They're gonna believe once once you get there. You know what I'm saying? Watch when you make that stride, that's when they're gonna believe. That's when they're gonna believe, bro.
Let's go, bro. And that's why I love opportunities like this, because you're almost like, for car analogy, you're opening up the hood,
Yeah,
and you're evaluating. You know what I'm saying? And then they're understanding like who you are as a person,
yeah,
because it's not about, and you've already said one thing in the show so far, that like you're an artist, and and if anyone's already looked you up or whatever, they know it's
yeah.
in the title, whatever the case may be.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
besides that, it's more about who you are and what you're about and what your beliefs, because people want to be behind people that they know, like, and trust, and want to be able to be like, man, I seen
Exactly.
where he was, and now I see where he is and where he wants to go. And I want to be a
Exactly.
part of that whole entire process.
Exactly. Exactly. People like authenticity. I think
Oh my God.
people
Amen.
people believe in a person who is authentic, and people believe in somebody who is going to be real and not be a phony. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I as a person who does music and as a rapper, certain things that I speak about. I have to remember that, okay, let me put this persona behind it, because I don't want them to
Mm.
think that this is who I actually am. Just like in
Mm.
acting, if you're an actor, you don't want them to think that you're actually this character when you're acting out this character. That's why different actors go to different ventures and different roles and stuff like that, because a
Mm.
different role will then have people thinking you're an actually like an amazing actor and you have a certain skill, rather than you being this person that you can only act in these certain roles. Like, bro, there's a lot of bro, they try to do that to Jonah Hill, just made him a
Wow.
certain actor to where once he got on Superbad, after Superbad, that's who Jonah Hill is now. Just the big funny guy who
Yeah, I
can always
love
get punked
that.
on. And
Let's
it's like,
go. I like that. There is some actors, like, you look at, just trying to think, like Jonah's one of them.
yeah.
What's the one dude? He was, God, he said so many freaking Happy Gilmore.
Yes, yes, yes.
What's his freaking name? You know what I'm talking about. He had
Yes.
all those movies, but he was always real. Right? Let me see. Let me
Yes.
see if we look it up real quick. We don't have our guy behind the scenes. Hey, you look up Happy
Right, right.
Gilmore. It'd just be like, yeah, let's see.
Exactly.
Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore. Let's see what it says. Come on.
I think I believe.
Happy Gilmore. That's why I have two phones, bro.
Right,
So this is why
exactly.
we're gonna use them.
I need to invest into another phone, man. The storage on
Happy
my first phone
Gilmore.
is going out. Like,
Is it? That's the
man,
worst. That's the worst.
going out. And especially for a content
Adam.
creator.
Adam.
Adam. Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Adam
Yeah.
Sandler, dude.
Adam Sandler.
This dude, Adam
Yeah. Oh,
Sandler.
yes. Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
guy.
Okay. Yeah.
That
Bro, they
guy.
tried to
Adam
do
Sandler.
Adam Sandler so bad, man. Like at one point I was seeing where every movie that he dropped, even the good ones that I know about as a kid, the ratings for like how when movies drop,
Like Rotten Tomato or some
yeah,
shit.
Rotten Tomato, they'll
Yeah.
they'll actually have their own ratings versus fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, the Rotten Tomatoes ratings be so like just, underhanded, man, and
Yeah.
just so like
Underrating shit and just making it
downplaying.
downplaying. Yep.
Yeah, man. I'm like, wow. Like Adam Sandler's movies are some of the greatest movies I've ever seen.
Oh my
I'm
God. And
gonna
he
keep it a
produces
stack.
and writes and acts and do everything
Exactly.
himself. And this is the crazy thing is, and it's becoming more of a thing. And instead of, this is a crazy thing to think about, instead of following the narrative or the headlines,
Yeah.
follow the paper trail.
Exactly. There you go.
Who's getting paid,
There
bro?
you go. Exactly.
And then,
I heard like from this one my bad, sorry
no,
not to
you're
cut you
good,
off,
bro. You're
but
good.
I heard from this one designer. He was talking about how, you want to be a copycat. You do want to be a copycat, but you want to copy the right cat. You want to be a copycat.
I
Copy the
like
right
that.
cat.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, like, it's like success leaves clues.
Yeah.
There's a system, there's a process that if you follow it, then you can then get to a certain point.
Yeah.
What's hard is, and we'll talk about this in the show, is when you talk about like what you talk about in the music, and then who's getting paid, and
Right.
then what is the narrative? Because for such a long time in artistry, especially within the rap community and
Yeah.
culture, it's sex and it's drugs and it's alcohol and it's this perceived, and it's interesting that the perceived notion, the perceived reality of like sex, drugs, alcohol,
Right.
tits, ass, whatever,
Right.
is cool. Which I'm not saying it's not cool.
Right.
I'm just saying that, like, man, when you eventually get like a family, and if
Yeah.
anyone's married out there, or you got a girl,
Mhm.
or you got a boyfriend, and you're like looking at the opposite, and you're looking at
Mhm.
the opposite, like you're a boy, you're looking at girl, or vice versa.
Yeah.
You're getting caught by your partner, and they're like,
Yeah.
"What you looking at? What are you doing?" Blah blah. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
most
saying?
definitely,
And then
man.
it's just like you can't even like watch some of the music videos because it's like it's tits and ass. And then your wife or your husband comes in. What the fuck are you watching? Well,
Yeah.
I like this song.
Oh, really? That's what you get. Oh, really? You like this
Yeah,
song and you like
really.
that? Like,
That's why
bro,
you follow her on Instagram too,
exactly, bro.
huh?
It's terrible. Like a combination of social media and just how people like abuse it, and definitely
Yeah.
how people abuse music videos and definitely how people abuse just the sex, drugs, and alcohol type of theme.
Hell yeah.
Like when it was consciously talked about, it was consciously talked about, on how I'm doing this, but I'm trying to explain why I'm doing it. Like I
Mm.
do this because I'm genuinely just fucked up.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
some people are just like that. I'm genuinely just messed up in the head. So
Yeah, yeah.
like this is why I do this. But then there's other people nowadays too, definitely nowadays, which
Mm.
I will first, take some responsibility with my generation with
Okay,
how we
okay.
go about some of this music, man,
Yeah.
because it is so bad, bro. Like I'm seeing a lot of underground and mainstream. So not
Mm.
just one or the other. Underground and mainstream artists
Yeah.
consistently talking about these same things, which is shooting, killing girls, and what you're gonna do to them, and all of that. And so
Yeah.
like what I did was I'm like, okay, if that's what y'all like, then fine. I'll grab a bit of this, put this into my songs, and then grab a bit of what I like, put this into my songs, and
Boom.
combine it and see what this does.
New masterpiece, bro.
Exactly,
Let's go.
exactly.
I love it. Yeah,
And yeah,
cause for like from my perspective, I love the beat. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And I always I got, Bose systems, Harman Kardon. So like, I
man.
like the bass, whatever. So like
Yeah,
I'm gonna listen to something that has some cool bass.
right, exactly,
But
exactly. I got
then
Crusher Evos, man. Those are
you
amazing.
feel me?
Yeah,
Yeah. And then you're like, whatever, like I don't even think about the lyrics until like I got married. My wife's
yeah,
like, what the fuck are you listening to?
right,
I'm like, what do you
right,
mean? You don't listen to lyrics? And she's all about lyrics.
right,
And like my daughter and I, we're just about the beat. If it sounds cool, we're cool. But
right.
like, but to have like the lyrics and the beat come together,
Yes,
and then to think to yourself like we talked about earlier, association. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like words or affirmations, like what you're watching, whether it's TV, news, media,
yep,
social, like that's influence.
yeah,
And so,
exactly,
are you what kind of drug you want to be on? Why you
exactly.
listen to people talking about drugs if you
Yeah.
don't do drugs?
Yeah,
You feel
exactly.
me?
Because then you get influenced, man. You definitely get
Exactly.
influenced. Like I've heard a lot of people, talk about how they used to listen to guys like Future, and then like saying, yeah, when I listen to Future, it just kind of wanted me to do lean. It kind of made me want to do certain drugs like that. And it's like, bro, you don't want to get on Percocets, lean. You really don't want to do stuff like that, man. Like I'm talking about, I had homies who had withdrawals from that in school, and
Oof.
like they could not function. It's bad, man.
Ugh,
It's bad.
dude, and with shit like fentanyl and everything getting out there, it's crazy, bro.
Terrible, man. Terrible.
It's terrible. And we had shout out certified health nut Troy Casey on a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago,
shout out, shout out.
and he's health nut, right? So he's talking about all this shit, and he's very science based and all the things, and it's just like you really got to be conscious because like how long do you want to live for,
Right, exactly.
and how do you want to feel?
Yeah,
And do you want to be there for your children? And there's
yeah,
just so much more to it than and it's crazy, even in the music industry, in the last past 10, 15, 20 years. And if you just go back and look at, because my era was like Tupac, it was Dr.
yeah,
Dre, Eminem,
yeah.
Too Short, and like,
OGs, the
all the
legends.
old G's. Like, I don't know if you know, in the Bay Area, I used to listen to, he's coming back, come on. He's going to come up for me, but he was Vallejo
Yeah.
artist,
Okay, okay,
hella
okay.
big.
Vallejo,
And
yeah. It's a lot
he
of nice Vallejo artists. Shout out Vallejo.
yeah, that's where E40 came through too.
Yes,
I
E40.
met
Yeah.
E40. I drove E40 back to his house because I used
Really?
to be a lot attendant. Yeah,
Really?
and he had a Cadillac, and I used to work at Cadillac and Chevy,
Yeah.
and so I drove E40 back. And he like talks just like he is in his rap. Like he is like his persona is him.
I was
Like,
gonna say, like, is he as cool as he is in person?
oh
Because he
yeah,
seems like such a chill, cool
he's
dude,
just dude,
man.
and his whole like the lingo and everything, the language. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
All the
He's like, yeah,
same.
for sure. Well, he's like, you can tell like his he's just the same. Like
That's
there ain't no
cool.
difference. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying?
dope. That's dope, man. He's
And
real. It's
it's
good.
back in the Bay Area when I used to live out in I used to live in Pleasanton, and there's like Pleasanton, Livermore, Dublin, kind of like a vibe of like a Gilbert Chandler type
Yeah.
thing. It's
Awesome.
like
Okay.
suburbs close
Yeah.
by, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think he had a house in like Blackhawk or something like that. But it shifted.
Yeah.
I see now there's a couple artists there's one dude that I follow, and I think he might be in Dubai or some shit.
Yeah.
And I always play his songs and whatnot, but it's super positive, uplifting type music.
Awesome.
It's different than calls coming over here, and I don't know calls. It's different from what I feel like has been in the past. What is the guy's name here? See if I could find it out. I think it's on one of these posts that I did, and I just use his track. Oh yeah, so it's so I use it like he has this like Liftoff song. It's BAZ, was it Bizan? BAZANJI.
Awesome.
And this dude is just like everything he speaks on is just like affirmations and positive reinforcements and all that type of stuff. So it's a different type of vibe. I'll have to look the dude up and then show the audience if they want to check him out.
Yeah, most definitely, yeah.
But
After this for sure.
But who's your influences in music?
My influences. Now, for the longest time, right, I've been a big Tory Lanez listener.
Okay, that's the dude.
Okay, awesome. Bazanji. My bad. I don't want to butcher your name, buddy.
I'm not even try. That's why I didn't even try to pronounce it. Y'all know how to read better than I. There you go.
Shout out. Yeah, I'm gonna take a listen to your music after this for sure.
Yeah, it's just a vibe, bro. And like everything is just like, okay, cool. Like, there it is, kind of consistent, repetitive, which that's the thing. Like every guru, every speaker, it's like there's repetitivity. Like people, like they think overnight success, but it's not even like that. It's like a lot of times you're just repeating the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Like the health nut who was on our show, like he just regurgitated what he already regurgitated, and then I had to like slow him down and get him to talk about other shit. You know what I'm saying? But not to go be like Squirrel. What type of music? What's your influences?
So yeah, like I was saying, I'm a big or I've always been a big Tory Lanez listener.
Okay.
I feel like Tory has some of the best songs lyrically, like rapping wise and singing wise.
I like that.
And I've just been able to, gain a lot of like knowledge and just gain a lot of skill from like taking advice from what he does, watching his interviews and stuff. I feel like if you're an artist, you gotta study up on your grades. You gotta study up. So studying up on Tory, that is one of the things that singing and rapping. Like one of two of the like some of the best things that he does. I've taken heed to some of the advice that he's given out on how to be good at those. Most definitely.
You said so. Tory Lanez.
Yep.
Okay, Tory Lanez.
Yep.
See if it comes up.
My boy's incarcerated right now. Free Tory.
What?
Free Tory, bro. Free Tory, yes.
Let's see here, Tory Lanez. So we're this is live. So this boom with him.
That guy.
All right. So so you got someone to listen to. I got someone to listen to. Let's go. Let's just. That's who the guy is, and free him, man, free him. Only 32 too, damn.
Bump things like Chicks Tape, bump things like the new Toronto, man, like stuff like that. Love Me Now, that album, like bro, I'm telling you, this is great stuff by Tory Lanez, man. Another one, definitely J. Cole. I love J. Cole.
Okay, we all know J. Cole, and he was just at the Super Bowl.
Yes.
He's short, huh?
No, that was Kendrick.
Oh, that's Kendrick. That's Kendrick.
Yes.
Kendrick. Okay.
That's my go-to. That is my. It really for me. It goes. Since that last album. Now it goes Kendrick, Tory, and then J. Cole.
Okay.
That's my three. And those are the three people that have really influenced my music. Have really showed me, like you can be authentic, have fun with your music, but you can still also talk real and how you feel, and help people out through your music. Like how they did with me, because I didn't come from listening to music to like really have fun with it. I was really coming from music to like resonate with it, like truly. Like when I was a kid. And, I wanted to have the whole puppy dog love and wanted a girlfriend and stuff in school. I would always bump all the nice R&B songs talking about love and marriage and stuff like that, or like when I was in high school and then I got to like, trying to, do music and, start rapping, really being more conscious with it. Started listening to more Kendrick, started listening to more J. Cole, and
okay.
Stuff like, artists like them, they really show you, what I'm saying? Like, there's authenticity in everything, what I'm saying? Like literally everything, you just have to be able to find that piece of authenticity, that you can be able to exploit,
I love that. I love that. And that's the thing with technology these days, man. I think the people, you're watching this episode right now and, our intention is to serve, support, help you in any which way.
Most definitely.
Of course, entertain and bring you on experience.
Yes, sir.
And it's crazy because like you don't even really need to pay for a mentor. If you are a self-starter and you can get onto podcasts and watch podcasts,
Yep.
interviews
Yep.
with your artists,
Yep.
listen to their music, get on their social.
Yep.
They might have a live going on. You can have
Documentaries.
Q&A,
Yeah. Q&As.
documentaries.
Yeah.
It's crazy these days. And that's
Mm-hmm.
where I feel like, even if you're out there and this resonates with you and you're like, well, I'm paying for a mentor. I'm thinking about getting a mentor. They're not bad. It's cool to have a mentor.
Yeah, most definitely.
But I feel like what a mentor does now than ever before is that they just help collect your thoughts,
Right.
get you focused,
Right.
and get you on game to what you need to watch
Mm-hmm.
and what you need to be focused on so you can have that success if you can't figure it out for yourself.
Exactly, man. Exact
You know what
quote.
I'm saying? I'm
Quote.
gonna do my own button.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. Yeah, quote, man. Quote. No,
You
that's
feel me?
that's for sure. Like I definitely feel like, if you are gonna be the type of person to, want to strive out to learn things, you do have to, like, go to a mentor. Mentors are really big on trying to help you out. As far as other people, you have to pay to win, and
Mm-hmm.
I really hate to pay to win, because a lot of times, if you would have had, like, a lot of people like on this earth are really talented, but if they would have had that little push from this one person, we would have a lot more entrepreneurs. We would have a lot more artists. We would have a lot more positivity. But because
Yeah.
people like to be enclosed, people like
Yeah.
to be, like, I don't want to help you out, because I don't want my toes to get stepped on,
Yeah.
or I don't want to help you out because I feel like, you won't be able to get better. They won't try to see the potential in somebody.
What's in it for me?
Yeah, exactly. Or what's in it for me? Exactly.
You know what
Just
I'm
trying to
saying?
look for a leg up. Exactly.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah.
What that's
Yeah, man.
100%. And that's where I feel like it's interesting. And I think it's more so from that perspective of what you're saying. I feel like it's more indoctrinated. I feel like it's because of our leaders and the people that have, like, because we were born into this world and
Yeah.
our parents are born and their grandparents are born. And I feel like it's like a generational thing where, like,
Yeah.
we're almost like programmed to be this way. You know what I'm
I think you're
saying?
right. Yeah,
It's so
exactly.
interesting like that, though.
Yeah, because, like, as kids, you are taught, like,
Eat your vegetables.
Exactly.
Don't talk back.
Most definitely, like, you're
Do
taught,
your
like,
chores.
certain things, like, you do this, do that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, and you sit there wondering, like, why? Why am I being told to do this? Why am I being told to do that? And so a lot of kids aren't taught why you're being told to do this, why you're being told to do that.
My daughter always asks that question, though.
Exactly.
Why? Why do I have to do that? But then
I would get in trouble for that, though.
Really?
Yeah, as a kid, I would get in trouble for saying, like, my mom would be like, hey, so and so, I need you to do this.
Yeah.
Dre, do this, and I'd be like, why? And a lot of the times it would come with, because I said so, or
Yes.
or even physicality,
My
bro.
mom was the same way, bro.
Yeah.
Same fucking
Yeah,
way. How's
bro.
your parents? Same way or what?
Let me know, for real.
Put in the comments. Come on
Yeah,
now.
most
But
definitely.
and it's so interesting. So that's where I like to be different as a parent and be
Yeah.
like, this is why. But then I have that A type personality who's like super stubborn, and then she wants like why times 5.
Yeah, that's
Okay, I
good.
told you why. Okay, tell me 4 more reasons why. I need 5 fucking why. I'm like,
Yeah,
girlfriend.
that's good. That's good. And, like, but I think a lot of people don't understand, like, bro, they're kids. So
Yeah.
they're trying to absorb information. They're
Yeah.
sponges,
Yes.
and, like, I feel like we're all sponges, but as adults, now me and you are now, kind of, sponged out a little bit. We got a lot of information, you know what I'm saying? But we can still.
Bring that shit out. I need to start over.
Exactly. Yeah, I really do need to start over, seriously. But, like,
Shit.
with kids, bro, like, they're coming in, like, not absorbing, a lot of stuff. They're really only
Yeah.
absorbing things that they see at home, and then they're probably absorbing stuff that they see on TV and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, as a good parent, you do want to answer those questions, like, when your kid says why to that, unless obviously they're trying to be snooty, or, they're trying to,
Yeah.
actually get a rise out of you. 'Cause
Smartass.
we all know what kids can do. We all know what kids can do.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
No,
man.
I'm right there with you, bro. I'm right there with you. And that's where I feel like that's one of the reasons why I wanted to design this show too, is to like help be able to like break the cycles. I feel like personal development is huge. And I feel like, you know, if you watch a lot of podcasts or whatever else, it's like always like clout seeking. You see the podcast episodes out there, and I'm just gonna keep it real right now, where like a lot of the people that are on the show are already been made it, already have hundreds of thousands of millions of followers or whatever. And that's not what I'm committed to.
Yeah.
And like I
yeah.
did have, Troy Casey on, and I'm not gonna lie, like having like a bigger person on your show can help
Yeah.
with like the views and the clout and getting additional
Most
attention,
definitely.
which I think there can be a good balance in that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is proof to you, hopefully, that like we're all people, man.
Yeah, man.
Don't
Yeah, most
matter.
definitely.
Don't
Yeah,
matter.
I be thinking about, like I got to meet, some really top businessmen that are, in this world.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got to be around, certain people, like Michael Pollock, he's a very big investor and a very big, business owner. He owns a lot of plazas, and my mom used to play in a band with him,
Oh, no shit.
So like, I've been around, people who, have had a lot, and they still will always tell me, consistently, you never want to forget where you came from at all. You never want to you never want to forget, like your past, and you never want to forget, just what started you, because like if you forget that, sometimes forgetting where you started can definitely veer you off of the path to, thinking that you now are like that, like, hey, not to be, so out there with it, but definitely thinking that you're the shit.
Yeah.
When you're not. Like, seriously, like there's a lot of people out here who are putting in the work day and night, man. I'm talking about 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., and they're in the studio, they're in the gym, they're at their business meeting, they're, writing down documents, all of that. And you thinking that you're the shit just because you got some type of, big following, or some type of, nice viral video, the work isn't done.
Nope.
Like just how Kobe said, work's not done. Work isn't finished. He had like what, 2 championships at that point? And what do you say? Work's not done. Work's not done, bro. It's never done at all. You have to keep going. You have to keep putting in that work. Consistency is key.
Damn, dropping bars over here, bro. Throw a
Thank you,
little
man.
track behind you, be good.
Thank you, man. Thank
I
you, man.
love
I
it, bro.
appreciate
I
that.
love it. But it's so true. And I was watching, I was listening to, I think it was, yeah, it was, I think it was his book that I was just talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the Beatles. And he said, man, like the Beatles, like because they got so caught up in their success,
Yeah.
and they didn't communicate, and they didn't
Yeah.
really think about like, when they get here, what is it going to look like? And really just kind of like just over communicate.
Yeah.
Like their success actually imploded, and
Mm.
they fucking imploded from inside. So like, you might think your shit don't stink, or you might have an ego issue or whatever else. Well, we're going to tell you right out, check your fucking self, because
Yeah.
at the end of the
Out of it.
day, you're going to wreck yourself.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. Like you can speed too fast to where you can crash.
Ooh, damn. Speak too fast, you're going to crash. I
You will crash.
like
I
it.
promise you, man. I promise you.
I like that,
Yeah,
bro.
thank you,
I
thank
like
you.
that. And that's where I feel like right now too, like, people are getting exposed quick.
Yeah.
You're seeing it all over the place. Whether it
Yeah.
was like Dan Bilzerian, he got hella exposed and shit for the
Yeah.
stuff that he was doing, whatever
Yeah.
else. And that's why he's not behind the scenes now. He's just like
Mm-hmm.
not being in the public's eyes or whatever.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know, Andrew Tate, who knows? You know what I'm saying?
That's a big who knows, because I was like, wow, like coming. I'm gonna say this,
It's good.
coming from a person who, like, I used to sit down and genuinely watch, bro, and I used to
Yeah.
sit down and genuinely be like, okay, he's speaking like actual facts, because a lot of
Yeah.
what a lot of what I feel like he was speaking was true stuff, and actually, like valid stuff. But the fact that like he has actual footage of him saying stuff about sex trafficking, dude, like it kind of puts you in like a light that's like, wow, like,
Yeah.
am I, like, I heard a quote that was like, you are able to, like, sometimes the best teachings are from villains. And I was like,
Ooh.
I can't believe that. And it was years ago, and to this day, it's still hard for me to gain a grasp on. But dude, back then when I first heard that quote, I was like, I can't believe that. There's no way, because like there's so much bad people on this earth doing terrible stuff. But then you look at some of the bad people that, like, bro, a Diddy,
Yeah.
Diddy has some of the nastiest and most, like, like disgusting track record of all time. But
Yeah.
he has certain quotes in his life that make you feel like, damn, like that's real. Like when he was talking about, you know, like I can, like anything I want, I can get it. Anything I want, I can get it. I put in the work. Anything, that's real.
It
That's
is.
real. So you can definitely learn from villains, but you definitely don't want to take on the persona of that villain.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly,
for
bro.
sure.
100%,
For
dude.
sure. Yeah,
100%.
for sure, man.
And that's where I feel like, you see it all the time, and people get to that place of power, and they know it's a situation where, like, so I'm like, I was watching this, and I'll share it all with you guys right now. And if you want to be reprogrammed, this would be a good video to watch. And I watched this video. So you all know Hay House.
Yeah.
Hay House Productions for like self-help books, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So the founder, it's Louis Hay, right?
Okay.
Hay
Yeah.
House.
Right.
And this video is use this through process of instantly manifesting $50 million.
Okay. Awesome.
And so I've been watching this, and this is the video here. I'm gonna go ahead and show everyone so y'all can see it. So go a little closer. This is the video right here. Y'all can check it out. And she's talking about a process of how you can reverse engineer the process of, because like when you say like I want, you're like pushing shit away. And so like you don't say I want, you say like you know, things like you ask for like you ask for it. Like you say, Lord, like I would like to take my music career to the next level.
Most
I
definitely.
would like to serve more. And so she's talking about how you can manifest 50 million in 2 weeks and how people have already done it. And it has some practices, and it's a way that, you know, if you go to the store, and I've had this issue myself, like I'll be buying food and I'll be consciously thinking about like, oh, how much does it cost or whatever the fuck, instead of just doing it. Exactly. Right. And how rich people expect it. Like breathing air, you don't think about breathing. Breathing is just breathing. So some of the most richest, most influential people, they don't even think about the millions upon hundreds of millions or billions of dollars in their account. It's just normal, like breathing air.
Exactly.
You feel me? So some of the villains, like they know how to hack that shit, and they know what they need to do what they got to do to like get to that. And then it's almost like, oh, well, I already know that shit. Let's have some fun and fuck with this or fuck with that or see what's up. And so, and that's where I feel like, you know, I don't know if what you guys all believe, but I'm gonna talk about the chakra shit. You know what I'm saying? If you want to just take advantage of like the sex chakra and like and see how far they could push it or whatever else. And the thing that I think that people need to realize is like, we're fucking powerful, dude. We're hella powerful. And you and me and you listening, like we have the power to influence every single person around us in our inner circle.
Most
Fuck
definitely.
the media or the news or let that shit control you. You can control everything around you.
Exactly.
I control this whole room to be the way that this room is.
Yeah.
You feel me? And then now you want to be a part of this ecosystem that I created, and you want to watch this because you found it or you stumbled upon it, or now you've been watching a couple episodes or whatever.
Right.
And I created this out of nothing because I had this manifestation, and I just had this calling from my future self to say I need to go in this direction.
Right.
And
that just means that, like, you know, when you get an idea or you get something that is like, you know, like that seems like it's really meaningful to you, that means just don't stop, you know?
Don't stop
at all. You know, as soon as it hits you, you know, really enact on it, you know, because a lot of missed ideas are gone and they're hitting the next. And then that next person, they do it. And then you look up and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Most def, bro.
How many people out there can relate to that shit?
Most definitely.
Someone telling you, oh, I had that same idea.
Yeah.
What?
And then it's like, wow, he's like, not only is he doing it, but he's doing it with ease.
Yeah.
Just with such ease, man.
Like Shark Tank. How many people watch Shark Tank?
Yeah.
And seeing fucking something that was developed or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, because honestly, I feel like, you know, going a little bit deeper from the perspective of like consciousness, right? We don't know what the fuck consciousness is, right? And then when you think about consciousness, like you know, whatever, they've studied it, they try to understand it. It's like they can't understand it. And like I look at it as like we're all basically just one.
Right.
And then if you like you think about like, you know, like a video game where you just like you grab, right? You like you go in the air and you just grab this and you grab that, or like you like in a money box,
right?
Grab all the money, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like you had this idea that you just like grabbed $100 from this money box, and it's like, well, here's your idea. You opened it like a fortune cookie,
right?
Like, okay,
right.
Okay, so I have this opportunity, right? And it's like the universe almost being like, here you go. And are you gonna fucking roll, or are you gonna throw?
Yep, exactly.
And so he'll throw, and then someone else is like, oh, fuck yeah.
Boom.
I'm going.
Yep. And then you look up and it's like now you have regrets. Some of the worst things that, you know, a human can have. Regrets.
Dude. Amen to that, bro.
You don't want to have any regrets, man.
Hell no. And I'll be honest with everyone out there. Like, you know, I'm right now we're at like a little over 300,000 for the year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
Did over 1 million last year. The goal is 3 million this year.
Hey.
You know, and you know, got the team in the Philippines, got the wife, you know, helping serving families, and you still get to a point, you know, no matter how level of success you're at, where you're like, you get down on yourself.
Yeah.
Or you question this, you question that, or you doubt this, you doubt that. It happens it happens no matter what.
Right.
But it's moments like this or flow state opportunities when I'm meeting with someone for a strategy session, or I'm in a podcast and you're just in that state of flow, and it's just like, man.
You know, it's just a vibe.
It's a vibe, bro. You're like,
yeah, and then it feels good. It's positivity, you know, and
yes.
it honestly has you feeling like, you know, this is honestly what life is about.
Yes.
You know? You ever have those moments where you just feel like, you know, bro, this is honestly what life is about.
Yeah.
It's not about why I was mad 2 seconds ago or 2 weeks ago, this is what life is about.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, the negativity, the why I was mad, all that type of stuff. Those are just lessons. All the negativity is just a lesson for you to get to the next step. And it was crazy because I did this thing, right? And I'll be real. Like so we got Airbnb, fix and flip. My wife has her tea company. We got Liftoff Agent, which is the main marketing agency. I got 2 podcasts, Liftoff Experience plus Real Estate First Technologies. We got a lot of shit going on.
Powerful motion, man.
A lot of powerful motion. And so with one of our flips sitting, and like it's like, okay, I'm helping the wife out because like we were fixing flipping and then Airbnb and then we were cash flowing, and it's like, okay, cool, that paid for like the pool guy, it paid for the lawn care, it take care of the cleaners. Well, what happened? Well, now we got to pay lot rent because it's 55 plus in these communities. So now we're like, okay, so now it's like it's fall back on me. So then I got to take my income, my salary from Liftoff to then supplement the wife, take care of lot rent, whatever it is. And so like, so now I'm like, I don't want to say pinching pennies or like living paycheck by paycheck. I got 2 fucking supercars, right? But I started to get to a point where I was like, fuck, man, like, like over analyzing or thinking of things that weren't even anything that I needed to think about. I couldn't control it in that second. And then I watched this and it reminded me, I'm like, man, why am I like at the grocery store thinking about what I'm buying for?
Exactly.
Like, why am I feeling lack?
Exactly.
Why am I not feeling abundant?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck's my problem?
When you get that itch and when you get that feeling, bro, you're definitely going through an evolution.
Ooh.
Real. Like, I remember just 2 years ago, like I had no job to my name. I had no money to my name, and I was living in Tempe. And me and my homie, like my roommate, we did some of the same stuff, but like I was getting to a point where I was like, I want more. Like I just want to do more, feel more, see more, have more,
You feel it?
Like for real. Like that's for real. Like, when you get that itch, that evolution, it tends to, like make you, become a greater person. It tends to make you, do more, because I think everybody knows what I'm talking about, like that feeling that's like, yeah, I can't be like this anymore. I can't be the same anymore. You know what I'm saying? Especially you're like, if you do see stuff around you that has, that needs your attention. Like, my girl, man, at one point she couldn't work for a little bit. So, I had to honestly, tell her like, okay, look, if you can't work right now, I got you. I can be able to help you out,
Yeah.
But doing that, it put me in a mindset to where I've never done this before, and at such a young age, because I'm 20 and doing this at 20 years old, paying for, my girl's rent, having her live with me. She's taking care of, the home, and I'm out, doing my work, doing my stuff. A lot of the times in social media or nowadays, how it's depicted, that is just a horrible lifestyle. And like, you're not supposed to, do a 50-50 relationship to where, your woman needs to help you out with the financial stuff, or your man needs to, be washing dishes or, stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's been many times where I've washed dishes, and there's been many times where my girl has literally helped me out with the rent. I'm gonna keep it a stack. Like,
hey, we're keeping it real.
we're keeping it a stack, man. So it's like, like I feel like, the whole notion of, not being able to, do what you want to do, and then the whole notion of thinking that you're stuck where you're at, that's just, that's just laziness, in my opinion,
Amen, bro. Amen. That's what's up, dude. I love that. I love that.
It's definitely.
And it's interesting because, like, when you're talking about from the beginning, the whole process of like you're going through this next step and you're evolving and you're getting more. And I just want to speak to anyone out there who's like, oh, well, why do you need more for? And you should just be happy with what you have.
Right.
This, that, and the other thing.
Right.
And it's because I want to serve more fucking people.
Dude, I want my mom to live in some of the best places on this earth, man. I want her to experience some of the best things. My daughter, my girl, my family, like my friends. I know a lot of people have friends who want to go out to Bangkok or something with their friends, or Japan, and just live it up.
And this is crazy. This is okay. I'm gonna tie it back into that earlier in the show, that video, the 50 million in 2 weeks. And it said, okay, and part of the video says, all right, close your eyes and imagine, like, what would you spend and how would you spend the 50 million to help people? And I'm like, all right, my mother-in-law, she needs a new car.
Right.
Boom, mother-in-law gets a new car.
Right.
Jonathan, who was on our podcast, wants to do some retreats and some other stuff, and he's in between like housing and here, dude, here's 10 grand. I'll invest in your company and let's go, let's move it. Okay, the next thing, okay, my dad hit me up. He has some stuff that he's dealing with and needs a little help. Okay, boom, here you go. Let me help you with that. Go to the grocery store. I'm working with the teller. It's like, okay, here's $100 for you. Here's $100 for you. Oh, the waitress, here's $1,000 for you. And just being able to be able to do that for people.
Yeah.
Is awesome.
Yeah, and then you see it, and then it's like, it makes you feel good too. It makes you feel awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, man. And just
it's complete freedom.
Yeah, exactly, bro. That is it's freedom. Like it's the freedom to be able to be like, I can do this and make you feel good and I feel good, and like it's like a feeling that you just can't explain. Like like we just feel good right now. We just feel so good because we have it.
And that's the thing. That's like it's a fucking shackled, right?
Yeah.
It's like oh, the algorithm's controlled.
Exactly.
You gotta go do your fucking 9 to 5 and go get your degree and follow this process because that's what your parents and your parents and your parents and your grandparents and all the fucking generations have done and shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So no, fuck those shackles. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be a cycle breaker and do what I want to do.
Yes.
And I know, like it's like okay, cool, like maybe I'll be a little bit more comfortable, but fuck being comfortable. Right. I like to be uncomfortable in every situation.
Exactly.
So I'm rocking my TRX. I'm rocking the GTR. I get my wife her car, like, and then she's like, oh, we got registration coming up for one of the cars. I said, don't trip. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good.
I'm right there. Yeah.
Because I know she's growing her tea company and getting to the next level and everything else. And so this is what's happening behind the scenes. And that's why I love this because not a lot of people will take, like, we're already like an hour in. Yeah. A lot of people won't spend an hour on a podcast, go this really deep in, and then listen and understand. And I got to say, big shout out, man, for the man Dre over here. Boy's 20, dude.
Love, man. That's
20,
love,
bro.
Love.
You feel me? Like you're way ahead of your time. You're an old soul. You're very poised. You know where you're headed. Like I could tell that you're very level headed, bro.
Thank you, bro.
And dude, like you're more level headed than I was at your age. I'll tell you that much right now, bro. And I was fucking 20, dude. I was stupid,
bro.
I was juggling women. I was nightclub promotion and partying. I was selling weed. I was just like
living it up,
bro.
No, yeah, I feel
that. I was I mean, I was figuring it out. I was getting close to starting a company, but I didn't start my business until 22.
Yeah.
And then at that time, I was like selling cars. Then I got into nightclub promotion, parties, and like I was doing the security thing.
Yeah.
And I was having a great time, and I would never take it back because it made me who I am today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm just saying that like I could see where you were at and where you're headed, dude, and like the people that you're associating yourself, and the fact that you reached out to me, and like that's what I love. Like I want to be a person, and I appreciate you reaching out. That like someone like you can reach out to me or anybody. I don't care who the fuck you are.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, let's go. Come on over. Here's my address.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. Like it honestly, anybody come through, man. It's a vibe. I came through. The whole ecosystem is just very friendly. Like the family is friendly. My man.
You already family, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Okay, we're talking about bills and shit.
Yeah, I appreciate
MVD and having, because that's what I wasn't even going to stress off it. I was like, oh, he's already here, so then he's going to be a part of the family, and we got a couple things going on, so it's all good. Like, I didn't even have the lab set up real quick, which I just got to flip a couple things, but still.
Got to turn some stuff on and get it done, yeah. But it feels so, so natural, and it just feels so very authentic, and just a very good vibe, because there's a lot of, like I said, we were talking before, a lot of places down here in Arizona where the podcaster just does not care.
Yeah.
Like they don't care about what you're saying. They don't care about, your ventures or why you're even there. It's really just to get clicks.
Yep.
And I feel like right here, right, in this ecosystem, in the Liftoff, this is really honestly some game, and just honestly like a good experience just for anybody who's watching and for anybody who's here, to gain.
Let's go, bro. Let's go. And that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be an experience. And my letter that I wrote to for my future self, the letter that I wrote, or I wrote it, but my future self basically in that perspective wrote it, and I read it back, and like the Liftoff Experience, outside of just like a podcast, like the Liftoff Experience was like number one. I already seen it. You know what I'm saying? And like that's where it's cool because like then we all lift off together as a community.
Exactly.
And then 10, 15 years down the line when you're top big doing your thing,
you already know.
And then you're just like, hey, no, Mr. Liftoff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I was there on the Liftoff Experience.
I was there,
and now I'm right back.
And that's that's manifestation right there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's calling it for what it is for now and then in the future, and we're showing you and demonstrating. And the thing is that like something that hit for me when I was your age was ageism.
Yeah, okay.
People put people into a box because of their age. Like they don't know something or whatever. You feel me? And the fact that like you are who you are and as you are, and you're spitting game, even on like parenting talk and the whole nine, is because
Appreciate it.
you used to be a kid. You don't need to be a
Yeah.
fucking parent.
Exactly. Hey, man, that's a quote. That's 100 right there. That's a quote, man.
You
You
know what
don't
I'm
have to
saying?
be a parent to
No.
understand, like, certain advice that you can even give to parents.
Yeah, because
You know what I'm
majority
saying?
of the fucking parents don't even understand the children themselves, because
Exactly.
childrens are the most authentic light beings possible. They're the closest to
Exactly.
fucking to God that there is, because
Exactly.
they're coming in fresh like a virgin.
Yeah.
And then we come in with our bullshit, tell them don't do this, don't do that, fucking
Mm-hmm.
do your chores and blah blah blah, and fucking don't talk back and sit down and don't ask questions. And
Yeah.
guess what? You're just making them turn into who you basically are.
Exactly. Your past traumas start to, creep up on them, and then they start to experience those traumas,
Yes.
and it's really bad. Like, I came from my mom hamming school down into me so much to where, like, at a certain point I had to, like, ask myself, like, is this something that you really want to do? Because
Yep.
she was hamming it down into me so much, like, to just do my work and to do my homework, to do my chores, to do just certain things in school. And
Yeah.
then, like, at one point I remember my mom telling me that the fundamentals of life were taught in school, and I was just like, I was so as a kid I knew that was wrong as a kid. So I was like,
Nah, bro.
honestly, like, a lot of parents, even though as a kid you may look at your parents, and even now you may look at your parents like they're so smart and they just know a lot. I promise you, man, there are other people out there that, just know a little bit more. I'm not saying that your parents are just like, the, like, the most wrong people ever, but like there's
Yeah,
certain
yeah.
things that your parents won't know, and you're gonna be surprised at that. You'll be mad surprised at just a lot of things that
Yeah.
older people don't know that you already know.
Yep.
And
Amen.
yeah,
100%. And I'll give you all a tool. It's this simple. When your parents say something to you, listen to it and be present to it and feel it. If
mm-hmm,
it feels good to you, that's your higher self or God, whatever you want to call it,
mm-hmm,
saying like, yes. And if it feels bad to you, then
mm-hmm.
it's like, hold on, let me get another opinion. Just like when you're gonna buy a house, you're gonna buy a car, you're gonna get your car fixed, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Get fucking three. Like, I love my mother-in-law, but it's like she always goes with like the most expensive and the first option. It's like
Yeah.
it's like moms. Like, get three options, okay?
Right, right,
Just cross-reference real quick. Like,
right.
don't just go with the fucking first option. And
Exactly.
yeah, you're busy and you got other shit going on and you don't have time for it. And yeah, it's the best company and that's why they charge the most. But don't you want to get other options because maybe you want to save a buck or two,
Exactly.
or give someone who's super passionate that has a brand new company an
Exactly.
opportunity to fucking rise up too.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what
I
I'm
think
saying?
I think that mindset to, want to, experience new things and want to, be able to, have other people experience new things. It really only comes from people who try to be, very different, very
Yeah.
authentic, because a lot of us are very enclosed, like I said, very
Yeah.
enclosed, and, really just want to be in a box, because it's
Yeah.
safe.
Oh my
You
God,
know,
it's super
it's so
safe.
safe. Like, doing this, coming here, this was something that had me a little nervous because,
Let's go.
being on camera and
Let's
stuff,
go.
man.
Let's go.
Man, I'm telling you, even when I do vlogs, like my own vlogs, I just be like, I be nervous in front of the camera when I'm doing my own talks in front of the camera. Like,
Yeah.
being in front of the camera has always been one of the things that had me very, just nervous. That and being on stage. But
Okay. Okay.
I've already conquered one, which is already being on camera. And I feel like when you conquer something, it gives you the confidence to be able to want to conquer that next thing. Most
Yes.
definitely,
100%, bro. I'm right
yeah,
there with you. And so I'm the same way. We have like I have like 5 YouTube channels, and
yeah,
on one of them I recorded my whole life for 3.5 years.
really, really, okay,
And
that's
I just
dope.
vlogged, and it was like entrepreneur experience. And then I Saturday, Sunday, usually Sunday I start editing, try to
Yeah,
get the video out Sunday night or the next day.
yeah,
And I produced and filmed and edited and everything. And then I started like the Liftoff agent thing, and
yeah,
around the same time I was doing the same, but started doing videos there. And I could just tell over the years like how I've just evolved and been more like poised with it, and
yeah,
then also like authentic with it. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Because like it's so easy to, okay, how do I look? Do I
right.
look fat right now? Like, my hat straight? Like,
Mm-hmm.
my eyes twitching, bro. Like, you know what I'm
Yep,
saying, or
yep, yep.
whatever. You're just kind of like tripping, but it's like it don't matter.
Yeah.
And you know what the coolest thing about fucking online media and social media and vlogs and
What is
blog,
that?
all this shit? You know what it
What's
is?
that?
parasocial relationships, bro.
Really, yeah, I could agree. I definitely could agree for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because you already talked about Kobe, bro.
Yep, yep,
Like you knew him, like he was your brother or some shit. But
yep.
he just added enough value to your life, and it was a one-sided conversation. It was that celebrity fan relationship. I talk about this shit all the time at Liftoff Agent with agents all the time because we do a
Hmm.
lot of like passive prospecting, which are videos on YouTube talking about like Gilbert. Okay,
Right,
cool. Parks, schools, restaurants, things to do, whatever.
right, right, right.
Like build no like and trust in your sleep when you're whatever. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Yeah,
And so that's where it's like, man, it's so powerful.
exactly.
I've had a dude on the show, Ryan. I talked about this in another episode too, and I went to this like there's like it's called Just Grow podcast, and
Yeah.
it's Nico, and I'm probably gonna get back on this show because he's on my other one.
Awesome,
When I was
awesome.
just transitioning into this kind of vibe,
Dope, dope. Yeah.
and it's woo and do. So like do is like your standard operating procedure, SOPs or KPIs. Like
Yeah.
this is what we need to do to get to this level or whatever. And the other side is the woo, which is like it's a little bit more woo woo, spiritual, God, what have you,
Yeah.
meditation, stuff like that. So I went to one of his woo podcasts with my
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah. I feel that.
And I got partnered with this Indian dude, and he's like talking about basically this podcast and some stuff about it and everything else. And then next thing you know, because he knows Ryan, and Ryan, who was on this show,
Yeah.
has middle finger mantra.
Really.
He was going to
Really.
go be a professional baseball player.
Yeah.
Now he has a men's group, and
Awesome.
they read books together. They play. They wrestle. It's just a bunch of dudes.
Oh
And
man.
it's just a cool thing. It's like in like Tempe or some shit.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I'm like, dude, that story sounds hella familiar.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, the Liftoff Experience. I'm like, that's my show. He's like, what? Because he was listening to it.
Right.
He wasn't watching it. And he was then talking about my aunt and this and that. Like he knew me, but then we got partnered at this event. I'm like, what the? It was
Right.
crazy,
Right. Right.
bro.
Yeah, man. It's a small world we definitely live in.
It was small,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. I mean, we were just talking about how, you never know who's listening to you and you never know who's watching you. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a homie hit me up on Instagram a couple weeks ago and he was like, "Bro, I just want you to know, like, I've been bumping your music for like the past year and a half now.
Let's
Bro, I'm in
go.
Germany." I was like,
Let's
"What?"
go.
Like, we have listeners in Germany now?
That's
That's
what's
crazy.
up.
When I check my like there's the whole Spotify for artists thing to where you can check your
Yeah.
stats and stuff, right?
Okay.
And bro, I went down there one time, man, and one of the songs that hit the algorithm pretty good. And bro, I'm talking about Japan, Australia, like, and I was like, wow, bro, like, are you like India, like just
Let's
Europe,
go.
all these places, and I'm like, I'm actually getting plays in these places. Like, wow, okay, this is actually 100. So
That's sick, dude.
just put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, man. Just push that, man, push that, because
Push it.
you can honestly surprise yourself with what you can actually achieve.
Oh my God, bro.
Honestly,
100%. Like I didn't think I'm gonna be like growing my business in the Philippines,
exactly,
let alone now going to the Philippines. You
exactly,
know what I'm saying? Like what
exactly.
the and it's crazy. And then like serving my team and then we do like this little Monday motivation on Mondays, and then like we kick off the week, and then we have like our like wins at the end of the week on Thursdays.
Yeah,
And so now our team are like it's less of like the corporate shit. We have open door policy, everyone's on the same page, manager of one. It's like all of our team members like, what's your vision? We get
yeah.
the board. This is the goal for the customer. So like if you want to get your goals met, let's get the customer's goal met.
Right, right, right.
They're gonna give us more referrals. We get your goals met. Guess what? The company's gonna get his goals met by just default, right?
Right, right, exactly.
And so next thing you know, like I'm like serving our team, and then our team is like posting their trips and what they're doing on social, and then their friends and their family are like, "What? Like, what are you
Right.
doing? What's going on?" And it's this ripple effect.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you don't know until you just put it out there and you do it, and then you see it, and then you're like, "Whoa!" And most recently, from this podcast to some of the social content and some of the stuff that's happening, I'm like, "Whoa!" Like I'm starting to see like more engagements or people commenting, people like engaging, and I'm like, okay. And it's like
Yeah.
10 years later.
Yeah, it's because it looks authentic, man. It just it feels good and it feels real. And I feel like nowadays that's what we missing nowadays. A lot of social media stuff that's portrayed and put out there is fake. So a lot of people are just looking to like vibe with somebody real, just hang out with somebody on virtual. Like when you watch a podcast, you
Yeah.
honestly feel like you're hanging out with like the people who are in that
You
podcast
feel me?
sometimes. Yeah,
100%, bro.
exactly, exactly.
100%. I just think that like people want, like you said, more real and authentic. And also, and I'll just like, they're obviously doing amazing, but the Paul brothers, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they do an amazing job with like the punchline, do an amazing job with hooks. They do an amazing job with
yeah,
like, okay, cool. Mike Tyson, I get it. Jake Paul, okay, congratulations.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm
right.
saying?
Exactly.
And then
Yeah, shout out.
then he got the jet, then he got the fucking, whatever it was, the fucking,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was, I think it was a Maybach, like SUV or some shit. I saw one of Jake Paul's videos.
Right, right.
And it was like, man, like, that's crazy. But
Yeah.
like, I see it, and I think there's a place for it. It's just not my vibe.
Right. No, yeah, most definitely, man. I feel like, when you hop into that type of lane, you really are just doing it for like the clicks and the fame. You really are just doing it for like, the the attention,
That
how
clout.
much how much it garners. But I feel like people like Jake
Mm,
Paul and Logan Paul, like I've seen certain interviews where they talked about how they've been through like so much like, just BS with the industry that now it almost feels numb to like be authentic.
mm,
Like, like certain artists and certain people that are, mainstream right now that we all know and love, it feels numb to
mm.
them to be like, fake. It just feels numb to them to, say,
Yeah.
oh, hey, this and that, or, put on a persona or put on a mask,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I've heard rappers say that, the voice that some of these rappers use, like that you love on their songs,
Mm,
bro, they can't turn it off. Like they literally can't turn off their mask because it's just who they become now. It's just who they are. Because
yeah.
if they be that other person, now they're afraid of, getting laughed at, or they're afraid of, oh, you're not who you are. And it's like you always want to come out as who you are, at first, my bad, at
Yeah, yeah,
first.
yeah.
Cause like, bro, if you're gonna pop out in the scene and you're not like being yourself at first, bro,
Mm.
then who are you? You know what I'm saying? Like your first impression to people is always gonna be somebody else. So
Yeah.
now they can't believe who you
Yeah.
are later on in the future, bro. They can't.
100%, bro.
Like
And that's one thing that I take pride on is like what you see
yeah.
on or off is the same shit. There ain't no difference.
Hey man,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
love it. I
And you take it, you leave it or whatever, but like it's crazy because like I'm doing this event tomorrow. We're gonna like 40 people here and like I don't know, like 15 supercars.
yeah.
And like one of my boys is like, "You gonna vlog it?" I'm like, "All right, cool. Like, yeah, sure, I'll vlog it. I probably
Yup,
should." But
do it,
like I
man.
like listening to others and like let them kind of like dictate the narrative
Yeah.
because it's more authentic that way.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then I feel like it will have it'll probably pop off better just because I was like, hey, like I had a homie, he said like let's vlog it. Okay, cool.
Right.
But like I didn't even really try. I just put it out there and next thing you know, it's just like boom, like
Right.
everyone's like, all right, cool, let's kick it. Let's do
Exactly.
this. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's just organic and it just is,
Yeah.
which is awesome. And that's where I feel like the vehicles could be like a tool and a gateway to get into a whole nother set because if it wasn't for my dream car, the GTR,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be here right now.
Right. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
like that's a crazy thought. Like
Exactly.
every single thing that you and myself have done
Yeah.
has got us to this exact point in time.
For sure. Yeah. Man, there's certain things in my life where I've been like, if I hadn't went through that, or if I hadn't like, been through this type of, a certain situation, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be the person that I am right now.
Yeah.
I'd probably be way worse off, like doing stupid stuff, thinking stupid stuff, and just being another young person, just,
Mm.
out here with all my other young friends, just doing the youngin',
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I'm
which is
saying?
cool. There's a place to have some fun, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you gotta do shit. You can't just
Yeah.
always I mean, and if not, hey, it's totally up to whoever is
Right.
watching and viewing. It's your thing. And I just want to say though, for a second, is I want to say like I'm very appreciative of the fact that you're coming on
Yeah.
and
Appreciate that, man.
like you are a cycle breaker and you're
Thank you.
changing the construct of like music and you're doing a different type of blend
Thank you.
just like my goal with what I'm doing here
Yeah.
and blending it and doing like yeah cool Joe Rogan experience but like that's not exactly my vibe. That's not why I
Right.
picked the name. It was just like I want more of an experience in a podcast
Right.
and then I have this blend and you have this blend and we're here together to blend this like orchestrated like beautiful symphony.
Right. 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 Yeah.
And like I'm excited to see what's gonna happen in the future, and I'm glad that I'm a catalyst in the process of your success, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I
I,
got
I,
you.
I definitely like. I'm surprised that you were honestly this like fucking cool. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, bro, I really hope, bro, is like. I really hope bro's chill. Like, there's just so many people out here who's just, very, like awkward, and they just make it like my roommate. He's also an
Yeah.
artist too.
Okay.
He was telling me, bro, let me know if he's cool because like the last interview I just had with somebody, man, it just felt like I was interviewing him at that point. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
wasn't saying
yeah.
anything. He was just being robotic and stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
dude, I definitely see what you mean. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been through stuff like that too.
Bro,
So
I will say though, on that note, Malik's episode, not that
yeah,
it was like robotic, but I will say that like I kind of like had to kind of pry things out of him a little bit. He wasn't as like open to kind of like, and like, cause you could tell certain vibes, like, you know, it just super, either it flows and you look down, you're like, oh shit, it's been like 2 hours already. And then there has been some incidences where it's like, and not, I'm not saying it was a great show and y'all watch it, give me your feedback. I just felt like, it was just like, I kind of had to push a little bit more, you know? And the cool thing too is I like to break barriers, because for me, like, I don't know, like I'm 30, 39, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, and you're 20, but like we're still vibing out. And I hope this shows people, like, it don't matter how old you are.
It doesn't. It really doesn't, man.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, like, sidebar really fast.
You're good.
Just to let you know, bro, like, it isn't like, it wasn't you, maybe, like, you know, if that's what you were thinking when it came to, like, you know, prying things out of Malik, because I've known Malik to be like that, like,
really,
for kids, like,
okay.
And I mean kids, like, is it like, you know, like when we were in high school, I was really a kid, you know, but like, bro, he, like, I remember like, you know, in high school, how, you know, he would talk about his ventures and stuff like that, and doing like, he first was doing like, you know, YouTube with the bro, and they were doing like I think it was like Fortnite videos, and they were like, you know, streaming and stuff, and like, he didn't tell none of us about what he was doing, and like, you know, he was very enclosed, standoffish, you know, like Malik is that quiet guy that observes in the room and is just like, you know, okay, you know, and I'm more of like that guy who's like, I'm going out and like, hey, how are you doing? How are you doing? My name is, you know what I'm saying? So, you know,
put yourself out there.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but like, like, that just goes to show, like, you know, man, different types of people and, you know, different types of personalities, bro. You know, it doesn't matter what you're around, you know, as long as, you know, you're cool and authentic, you know, and the other person's cool and authentic.
It all matters.
Man, the vibe is gonna be there.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it'll be there 100%. Yeah, I feel you on that for sure. And that's where, like, the one thing I will say about certain individuals like him, like Maliki, is like, he's very intriguing.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know, and I will say, because, and my wife told me this, I get it. This is who I am. She's like, you gotta stop fucking putting everything out there. She's like, you're too much out there.
I feel that.
And I'm like, all right. I mean, I understand, but like, and then like, we got some bullshit with the HOA.
Yeah.
And then I put a video out there because they sent us 3 letters. We were in California for like 8, 9 days. We got back like a week and a half ago because my whole family's out there.
Yeah.
And we get these.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool. The bay is so cool. The energy's a little off, but
most definitely.
God bless. I hope everything's gonna be good in the long term for California.
Yeah, shout out California.
Yeah, shout out. And so got these 3 letters, whatever, and I did a video. And like, I can't tell you, but like sometimes it's just like the divine energy, God, whatever you want to say, Jesus, higher self, like just it gives me a calling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, what up, everyone? You know, and I get into like the story about this HOA situation.
Right.
And my father-in-law calls my wife and shit. No one needs to take down that fucking video, blah, blah. He's going to this, that, and other thing because he's talking about too much of the HOA and everything else. And so as everything fucking settles, and I'm the type of person that if I learn something, I want to regurgitate it so then someone else can learn it because I'm going through it. And I'm not just going to go through it on my own. I'm going to go through it with my wife, of course, and my immediate, but then I'm going to put it out there because someone else might want to buy a home or get a travel trailer on the side of the house and try to do what I'm doing,
of course,
and deal with whatever. So there's like the HOA and there's CC&Rs, and it's all the bylaws and shit. And I read that shit, sent him an email. After everything clears, I sent, it's been 72 hours, boom, boom, it's a little email. 72 hours, you got 24 hours to get back to me, or everything's null and void. Null and void, just a term, legal, whatever. It's like, you know, they can't do anything. They can't give us any fucking fines or nothing. Like the letters like in the trash. And they sent me an email back. We need more time because we need to read the bylaws still. Motherfucker, you sent me 3 letters and you haven't read the bylaws yet?
Yeah. What do you mean? That doesn't make any sense.
Ass fucking backwards, dude.
And I just feel like that means that in certain companies or you businesses, whatever you want to call yourself, like everyone has to be on the same page. Everybody, because what if that person didn't know about those bylaws or whatever, and maybe she could have been lying, but like, what if she did not know because the last person that sent it never got back to her, never told her boss or her none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, there are companies out there, nobody's on the same page. So when you go in, it's like, what's going on with this? Oh, I didn't know about that. How did you not know about that? You work here.
Did you not read your handbook, or did you not ask a question or nothing?
Exactly. And then they hit you with no, my boss just, didn't relay that to me.
Yes.
Well, where's your boss at? Because now I have a problem. Because, now the main person of this company isn't doing their due diligence. and that isn't okay. Yeah, man.
So fact check everyone out there, okay? Just fact check, because at the end of the day, like, this is the HOA
Yeah.
literally is a government ordinance of the community that you live in, and we
Yeah.
all pay into this fucking thing.
Right.
And the crazy part is that, like, the bylaws haven't been updated since like 33 years ago,
Really? Okay.
1994.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, and depending on whatever state, like Florida, if it's after 30 years, is null and void.
Really?
So, because they have to update them, and it's advisable that the CCNR should be going down a fucking whole rabbit hole. CCNRs and fucking HOA here.
Right.
This is the HOA segment of the Liftoff Experience, but it's advisable for 2 to 3 years to update that shit.
Okay.
And so yeah, so I'm like, nah. And then the fact that, like, we're paying like Haywood Property Management Company to basically work in our favor, and because a neighbor complained, I think that's what happens to Karen down the street.
Really?
Yeah, like, they had a travel trailer, but it's like a fifth wheel, and I was talking to the dude, and he can only go to 50% of the parks, and then I was like, I just got a travel trailer 23 foot on the side of the house with an Airbnb, helps submit the income, like, it's cool.
Right.
And then the lady who just moved in, it's not Karen, but I'm saying Karen, she was just like looking over and shit. And then we get back in California and have these letters,
dude.
And then the lady didn't read it, and then it's just like, dude, why are we paying you as a property management company if you can't even read the bylaws and make sure that you're doing things the way you're supposed to be doing?
Exactly.
And that's it. That's transferable in hellish shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally to every, like, type of business venture company, anything that you guys get with, anything that anybody gets with, man. If like the whole company, or just like the company as a whole is not on the same page, I if that's somewhere that you're trying to like do business with, I wouldn't do business with them at all.
Yeah.
Like, at all. If the company doesn't know what they're doing at all, and like people are not on the same page, I would not do business with them, because then you're gonna be put, like, as you see, with my man right here, or with me. Like, I had at my job, right? I had my manager tell me to do one thing with medications, because I work with clients who are disabled. So I have to do this thing with the medications, right? And when I do this thing, right, the next house manager or the next lead that comes in, right, gets on me, and now I have a write up because of, you were not informed the last meeting, or you were not informed today or yesterday by the house manager or by this other person that, I was told to do this, or we're not supposed to do this. So now, because you think that you have, the mindset that I know, what's supposed to be going on, without asking any questions, without trying to get any type of, like, clarification or anything like that.
Wow.
Here's your write up.
Wow.
Bro, it's just like that in America now, and that's why
Politics, bro.
Yes, most definitely with politics, man. Corporate America is shitty, man. It's so shitty. Oh,
that's why I tell people all the time. I said, dude, at Liftoff Agent, who sponsors the show, shout out. I appreciate you guys. Raineth, who's doing the editing on the show.
Shout out, man. Shout out.
Appreciate all y'all. It's we're all on the same page, and I meet everyone once a month for 30 minutes, and I think the CEO should be responsible for meeting every single staff member to a certain point. And if you want to have someone else that helps, whatever, the CEO, then the COO, or whatever, the vice president, just to be able to keep your finger on the pulse and find out and see how people are. Like, how are you doing? What's coming up for you? Whatever the case may be. Because what happens is exactly like you said. Then you got someone who has a fucking ego, and whatever, they got daddy problems, mommy problems. They were never heard.
It's always some old shit, bro.
It's some old shit, bro. Right? And then they want to bring it to the workplace because they weren't heard. And then it's just like the lady down the street, and it's just like, lady, I own this fucking neighborhood.
Exactly.
I'm not even gonna try to be like that, but, like, I'm just saying, like we literally went around the whole fucking neighborhood and did a flyer and said, let's meet the neighbors, and we're gonna do a little freaking meet the neighbors, like, potluck. Trying to be fucking cool with people.
I'm putting in the work to show that I'm being neighborly, for sure. Yes.
And then if some shit went down, should we all fucking, you know what I mean, be cool and talk with each other and whatever else?
Exactly.
And so if you're watching this right now, work your shit out, dude.
Seriously, get it handled. Get
some help.
I would say, man, there is this thing called, ID Shield, and I forgot what the other one is called, but definitely get with ID Shield, man. It is attorneys at your disposal, just for like a price monthly, man. Like, seriously, get with ID Shields, because like, like I just moved in out here in Gilbert into this apartment, and
Okay.
you know, Gilbert, we are definitely out in like the suburb area. I'm not even gonna lie to you. This is definitely a suburb area. So like, you know, coming out here, you know, I'm thinking, you know, it's gonna be very peaceful, you know, no play and nothing like that. And at my apartment complex, you know, they we all know how you have to have, like, you know, a deposit, a moving fee.
Yeah.
They had us deposit that fee, and right on the day that we're about to grab the keys, now we have to give another fee. And the first fee was $500, right? The second fee they told us that we had to pay was 2,000
What the
off rip.
what?
Now I was wondering, like, that doesn't make any sense. And then they're talking about because of the terms and conditions, and because of certain things, and because a certain amount of income wasn't shown. And I was like, yeah, that's not true, because there's three incomes that is showing, and we all make well over the amount that, you know, you guys need for us to
Wow.
move into here. And so basically, I literally had to get on the phone and tell the lady, like, I will get my attorneys on here, and I will literally, like, you know, send them documentation forms and all of that. I'll send them all your information if you guys don't get this handled within minutes, bro. Oh, well, we can honor it. You guys can have the keys, and, you know, we hope you guys have a great day. Let us know if you guys need anything. You know, we're gonna come in and fix all of that. And I'm just like, yeah, definitely get attorneys, because I did not see the value in that until, like, you know, I really had to use it, and I was like, wow, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta fact check and know what's going on. And at the end of the day, like it happens, same thing with the fix and flip with this trailer. It'd be 12 months, and
Yeah,
that's $12,000 in lot rent
yeah, man,
because
dang.
it's 55 plus. And so the community this month, and we're talking where we at? We're April 25th.
Yeah,
April is basically a wash because lady who basically helped us was Melissa, and Melissa connected with Melissa, my wife,
mm-hmm.
and my daughter, and she was just like, if you're not showing it, you're not selling it, and we know you're using an outside agent, but if you use inside,
Yeah,
like we already have like a Rolodex of information and data, blah blah. Okay, cool. I mean,
yeah.
just feel like we're gonna sell like in a week.
Oh,
It's been now going on 2 months,
yeah, awesome,
and it
awesome.
hasn't sold though yet.
Wow,
So
okay, okay,
so it will be awesome when it sells, but it hasn't sold yet. And so
right,
on top of that, then the lady Melissa then goes to a different park. No one fucking tells us. They got a new
right.
person. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? And then on
Ah,
top of all that, then finally I get some type of clarity. And then today I finally had a phone call with a lady who's now in there getting it done, and they're all off commission.
oh, okay, okay,
So
okay.
I
That's
told her.
dope.
So I told her straight up. I said, if you want your commission, I said, then freaking go through your Rolodex, find someone that wants a property similar to ours, whatever price point, and serve up the fucking us the information, and then we'll the offer, and we'll talk about it.
Right. You know, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then
Yeah.
they're giving 3 months lot rent to whoever buys this property. So
Oh,
so if you don't care, you can't expect anyone else to care.
exactly.
And if
Yeah.
you're not going to push yourself to make sure that you're good, then you're going to have an issue. And
Mm-hmm.
even with, like, say, I got to renew the registration for the GTR next month, I'm on classic car insurance. If you don't know, if you're in the state of Arizona, you get classic car insurance on
Yeah.
your car, you don't need no smog.
Really?
Smog exempt.
I did not know that. Are
Yeah,
you
yeah, that's
serious?
going to be one of those right there
That's
for
a
you.
bar. That is a bar. I did not know
For
that.
the car people out there. And if
Yeah.
you buy a used vehicle, it's no taxes either.
Really?
Yeah, I've saved like over
Oh.
10,000 in taxes on a GTR and the TRX.
Oh, snap.
'Cause I
Okay.
bought fucking both of them just private party and shit.
That's dope. Those are
Yeah.
bars, y'all. Those are bars. That's dope, actually. That's
Yeah.
really good. Yeah.
So
Okay.
so yeah, so ID Shield, check it out.
Yes.
Cross your T's, dot your I's. Don't let anyone take advantage of you,
Yes, please.
because they'll do that. They'll try to get extra money from you. They'll try to make you go through hoops.
Yes.
And there's something going on that I'm learning about right now. And if you all know about this, drop us some information in the comments below. And we talked a little bit when Jonathan was on our show.
Yeah.
And he specializes in NLP, and NLP is all about like reprogramming your brain.
Yeah.
And it's a whole program and shit. And I guess some people that hear it, they think like, oh, like master salesperson, you're gonna like change my brain to buy whatever, but it's
Yeah.
not that big of a deal.
Right, right.
It was a pretty chill dude.
Right.
And long story short, he said something about like just like you sign a contract, our social security. So if you know about this, let us know. Comments. The social security is supposed to be linked to your contract,
Mm.
and the contract is the Constitution.
Really?
And apparently, you can actually like null and void, take yourself off the contract with the government,
Yeah.
and then I don't know all the details. I'm not, this is not financial advice, okay? And I'm not 100% clear on this. That's why I want more
Don't come
information.
for the podcast, government.
Yeah, we want more information on this. Apparently, you don't have to pay taxes, and you're still a resident of, you're still a citizen of the United States of America, but you don't fall under suit with like the Constitution and paying taxes and some other stuff.
Wow.
So apparently, you can then like be free. I don't know exactly how it all works. I want to do some more research on it, but that's how deep the subject gets into. And I think people should think about that because we all, in our social security card, is basically a signature of a contract that we signed, and we didn't even sign that shit. We were born into it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so now we are subject to all these rules, limitations, whatever.
Yeah.
And honestly, like if, and I'm gonna do some more research. If we don't like what the government's doing and what they're talking about and the laws that they're passing and all that type of stuff, it might be null and void if we fucking take ourselves out of the Constitution, out of the whole fucking thing.
Really? Really? I did not see. I knew our Social Security held something because I was told by like somebody that your Social Security is like an account. And you have millions in your Social Security. Like I heard somebody tell me like you have like so much money in your Social Security that the government like basically uses to fund their idiotic spending tendencies like wars and stuff like that. Just helping out places that definitely are not going to be helping us out, in the long run. Like
a one-sided and shit.
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely heard about that with your Social Security. I did not know that though. Like, you could be free of taxes and stuff.
I don't know. So I'll do some more research and find out.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah,
because I want to find out too, and I don't know how it all works, but I just know that like if you think about a company has bylaws, could be LLC, C, S corp, and if you have that, then you have protection from being sued directly, and then your assets could be protected underneath the LLC. So then if I don't know. So there's something going on, and there's a process, and and Jonathan talked about it a little bit on his show, and I didn't go deeper on it, but there's signs from the man upstairs, and so I'm just kind of listening to the signs, and I'm going a little bit deeper with this possibility. I don't know exactly what is going to come of it, but whatever. And now if you're watching this now an hour and 30 minutes in, you're welcome.
Do the research.
Yeah, do the research. Put the links down below, whatever you find. Well, I want to know what's up.
Yeah, because definitely I feel like as citizens who don't really know a lot of information like that we're not really being taught or given that we should be given. It is helpful for like all of us just as a whole to be able to help each other out. And as my man the Liftoff has explained to y'all, listen,
let's go.
Mr. Liftoff has explained to y'all, we are humans. So nobody is like out of bounds or out of reach of communication. Nobody is out of bounds or out of reach of hidden up or just being like oh, they're never gonna talk to me, because like I said, as humans and as human beings, as civilians, we should be out there to help each other out. Most definitely. Like stuff like this is game.
That's what it's about. And it's not about what you know. And it's not even about what you don't know. It's about what you don't know. Like there's things that you don't, like questions you don't know you need to ask. There's things that like you have no idea. And the this is the number one issue when you're watching this. It's that the questions you don't know what to ask. In order to break the cycles that you're in. And I feel that there's certain people in this time and space, like you and I, that are cycle breakers, that are here to wake up others, so they can start asking questions, and even figure out what questions you should even be asking, to get clarity on things, so you can be able to live your true, authentic life and not be in shackles and feel free.
It definitely, like, we are in a new age to where it's like
I feel it.
like hey, I have this information, and let's actually do something with it.
Whereas
before it was like, we don't know at all.
We don't know shit.
We don't know,
everyone, we're in information age right now.
I feel
it's all information age. And that's where I love the internet, and it's like opening up things and explaining more, giving more people opportunities to think outside the box. And at the end of the day, you want to talk about utopia? Utopia is just everyone basically looking out for everyone.
Yes, most definitely, man.
No more haters, no more backstabbers, no more people telling people that fucking, you suck or this or that or whatever. Just we all just lift off together.
Exactly.
You feel me?
Blast off, man.
I like that shit. Straight blast off. Remind me of Andy. Shout out Andy. He has
shout out
the purple GTR. He's got some new wheels finally. So
see all these wheels. I have to get my Mustang, y'all. Like I'm
bro.
I'm around all these people with just good cars and stuff, and
Yeah.
just amazing stuff, and good wheels, good engines, I need to get my Mustang, man. I've
Yeah.
been looking into it, man. I really want a Mustang.
Just ask for it.
Yep.
Tell God, God, I'm ready for my Mustang.
There you go, manifestation.
Bless me with my Mustang so that way I could bless others.
Amen. Amen. There you go.
You know
Facts,
what I'm
man.
saying? Straight
Facts.
up, dude.
Facts. Yeah.
Music video, you know what I'm saying? The
Yep.
car shows, new connections.
Yep.
You're gonna put your Instagram on it, get more people to follow you because your music. I'll tell you what, dude.
Yep.
People like when they see like the GTR and they know,
Mm-hmm.
and even sometimes they don't know, they'll be
Yeah.
like, "What?" And they'll either look up the car or they'll be like, "What's Mr. Liftoff?" Look up that.
Yeah.
You know, and so you just get into this different ecosystem and opportunity, and
Yeah.
it's a cool vibe for sure, man. It's a
Yeah,
cool
man.
vibe for sure.
I gotta be around those, man. I just like being around people who have different interests, but it's like the same interest, which is just getting better, just being up. I like to be around people like that. I always say the mindset of staying the same and staying content is the brokey mindset. And that's not to be mean at all, but
Yep.
that is just how I look at it. To where, like, if you do want to be the same or stay the same, that kind of is a brokey mindset, because you
Yeah.
can be better.
You can
Always
be
be better,
better.
bro. Yeah.
100%. You see the mantra on the sign over there?
Oh, yep.
If your circle don't
Doesn't
inspire
inspire
you,
you.
you ain't got a circle, you got a cage.
That's a bar.
You
If your
feel me?
circle doesn't inspire you, you don't have a circle. You
got
got
a
a cage.
cage.
That's a bar, man.
You feel me?
That's a bar. Where did you get that?
It's on like ink or something like that. You can take a picture of it. And I found it. I was like, they were average because they make these prints.
Yeah.
And I found it. And then I was just like, as soon as I saw it, it hit different. I'm like, I need that.
Yeah, that is actually fire. Like, I'm like actually taken away by that. That's actually fire. It's a bar, man. I've never heard about that.
So now you can think about everyone around you. Like, where's their mindset? How are they inspiring you? And if they're
Right.
not inspiring you, then you're in a cage, because guess what? If you're the only person trying to inspire everyone around you,
Yeah.
then you might need to upgrade.
Yeah. I definitely have been in that same type of environment, to where, like, I've told my friends, even, like, let's do this, let's do that, let's better ourselves. And the thing that I hate the most is when you say that to one of your friends, and then it's like you get this notion where it's like, this again, this again. And it's like, yeah, man, this again. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, we're in the same place that we were at last week.
Yeah.
Let's be better, bro. Let's be
Yeah.
better. But, like, you have some dudes out there who are like, bro, like, why are we talking about this? Like,
Yep.
Let's
Yep.
just play video games. Let's just
Yeah.
go out. Let's just go
out.
get girls. And
At the
I'm like,
club.
bro, like, I'm tired of that, bro. I'm
Yes.
so tired of that. Like,
Yes.
I have Brodies out here, and I know people out here who are doing big things, going out of town, doing, shows, merch, whatever they got, they're doing their thing, and
Yeah.
staying close to God and just living it up in life, and
Yes.
all this stuff that you think is, freedom. It's really a cage. It really is a cage. You go into the club and staying, in clothes, and, just staying with the same things and the same people.
Yep.
Engagement, bro.
100%, bro. I'll give you all some game.
Yeah.
For anyone's watching that's in your circle that's kind of like that, and maybe you want to just chase bitches. Like, let's just get the next one, whatever, right? Like, one of the number one downfalls of men and their lack thereof success is women. Because what happens is you get wrapped up with a woman, and then guess what? You know what a woman is? The divine feminine is like an ocean.
Yeah.
And they'll fucking pull you in these different directions, and they got periods and they got emotions, and they're fucking badass though. And the next thing you know, you get one that wants to lock you up, and you're fucking having a kid.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? And then you're like, fuck. And then you want to talk about shackles on top of shackles.
Dude.
You know what I'm saying? And even if that doesn't happen and you're like, I'm just going to play the field. Well, how much energy does it take to text, to call, to learn about the person, right? And to go on the date, to work it in, to even get it in. And then great, you want to go out to a club, and I've been down this road, and you're like, oh, fuck it, whatever. Like, chlamydia.
Bruh.
You feel me?
Bruh.
I've been down that fucking road. Hit my boy up. Hey, I need some antibiotics. You know what I'm saying? He came through with some antibiotics for me and shit under the table because I was fucking hurting bad.
No way, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah,
Like
man.
that.
I used to freaking see how many in the day. I'd have one come in, the other one come out. Like, I did it all.
Bro, that is
I did it all,
wild,
bro.
Fuck, bro.
I did it all. And it was like, oh man, looking back, I was like, man, if I just took that energy and I put it towards fucking my future and my success and where I want to go, then it's like you find one, and when you find the right one, dude, a badass one, like one that's like, this is what I want. I'm not wavering. Like, this is my mission. Like Melissa, my wife now, she was just like, I met her on Instagram,
Yeah.
and she was like, I want a kid, I want a house, I want this, I want that, blah blah blah. I have my tea company. I was like, okay, cool. Like, try me. And then we pushed each other.
Got it
And
done.
when I talk about the book, she's all about the books. When I
Yup.
talk about, the videos, she's all about the videos. And
Yup.
she's totally cool with it. And like, what is she doing right now? She's taking care of my daughter when we're sitting here vibing out over a podcast for 2 hours, and she don't need
Sir.
to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we
See,
haven't been interrupted
beautiful.
once.
That's beautiful. Powerful, bro. That's powerful.
And tomorrow we have 40 people and over 15 supercars. You know what she did? She made fresh cookies. She did a fruit platter.
I did see that.
She already got groceries coming in. She got cups, and she did all this shit. You know why? Because we vibe together, and she's like, "Oh, your party." I'm like, "It's our party," but she's like, "No, it's your fucking party." But she loves to host. Like, I like to host.
Yeah, yeah.
And she likes to make people feel good.
Yeah, man.
And warm, and like they're a part of the family.
Yeah, man.
You feel me? And so that's different than just trying to find another one, a bad one or whatever.
Right.
And then, man, you got one with some problems, or someone that's just like just trying to figure it out, and then you're like, and then you're trying to be Mr. Daddy and shit. Like,
Yes,
oh, let me
bro.
help you out, blah blah. The young ones, dude.
Yes.
Man, I always went young, and that was our nemesis, bro.
Yeah.
'Cause I would go young, and then they would all have issues or problems or this or
All the
that or
time,
whatever.
bro. All the time. Like high school is one of the things that females can never seem to like let go of for a while, is that high school feeling, that high school, rush.
Yeah.
A lot of girls that I used to
He said,
date,
she said, drama, this, that.
dude, like calling me up talking about how, your ex is, coming to your house because he thinks that you're talking to this person, so now he's talking about fighting you. Like, dude, that type of drama is like,
I got no time for that shit, bro.
I don't have no time for that. I
No time
already
for that
have
shit.
hours and hours of work that I have to put in, bro.
Yup.
I need to come home to some peace, and I cannot have you, sitting here talking about how this person is doing this person dirty, and now you got some more tea and drama on this. Unless, like how you said, you are my girl, man, and we are chilling, and we vibing out, and we just talking, and me and my girl do that all the time. Where we chilling, talking, what I'm saying? And we'll talk about our families, her family. We'll talk about people that we met today. We'll gossip about it, but that's because I can be able to vibe out with her, and I can be able to chill. I can be able to do things like get my work done and not get interrupted, as my man just said. Like, dude, like there's a lot of there's a lot of men out here, ladies, who would love a woman who would just stay in her zone, stay quiet, stay in her zone, but also have a good word to say. Have a good, a good ear, like a nice ear to, be able to listen to, what I'm saying, be able to, talk to, because a lot of the times, us men, we really just want to get off what we feeling through that day. And then it's that we're really simple dudes, like really simple dudes. I promise.
Dudes are super simple, bro. It's like, yeah, just let us vent, hear us out. It's all good.
Yeah.
Let us get off, do our thing. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
Like we have our needs, and at the end of the day, like same thing with women. They want to be heard, so we just gotta hear them. We gotta rub their feet sometime, give them a massage. My wife's back with her, whatever.
Exactly.
And then a good book is a 5 love language. You gotta know like how to love your partner.
Exactly. Like
affirmations, gifts,
matter. Yeah, there you go.
Touch, whatever the fuck they want.
There you go. Yeah, the little things always matter, man. Like affirmations, man. Asking your partner, what I'm saying, like, what are the things that make you smile? That's not a thing that's corny. That's not a thing that is something that like some people even think I have to know this going into this relationship, and it's like, dude, give yourself some grace. How are you going to know?
Yes.
How are you going to know what this person likes? How are you going to know what this person loves?
Yep.
You just met them.
Yep.
How are you ever going to know that? Give yourself some grace. You can take the time to, get to know this person. You can take the time to ask those questions and not feel embarrassed.
100%. And I'll give you to end this segment. And then you could add to if you want to.
Yeah.
If you're gonna date someone, you want to be with someone. There's two things. One, you got to know exactly what you want.
Facts.
And so I wrote exactly out what I want in a female.
Mm-hmm.
Ass, tits, whatever you like. You know what I'm saying? Tall, short, whatever, right? Bubbly, you know what I'm saying? Feisty,
all that.
Mexican, whatever you want. Write it all down, okay? Know what you want. And then the second thing is find someone else that knows exactly what she or he wants.
Exactly.
And then be clear.
Yes.
I don't like fighting. I like to go to sleep at this time.
Mm-hmm.
I like to eat healthy. I like the gym.
Yes.
I'm a reader. Like, just be honest about who. And if you don't know who you are, then don't even fuck with the relationship.
Yes, man. Yes.
For
Find
what you
yourself,
want.
bro. Find yourself. Facts.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna send this episode. I love you. Don't even. I love you. Michaela Costanza. She's about to be 25. She's out in California right now.
Shout out. Shout out. Okay.
And she's playing the field, and she has a little Malachi. And Malachi, you know, I told her, I was like, I could take Malachi.
Yeah.
And you know, he's 6 months behind my daughter.
Yeah.
And I think I inspired her to have a kid. I don't know. And I love him to death. I love her to death. And my mom, you know, I love her to death. I think sometimes she, you know, enables a little bit.
Yes, man.
And it's like you got to let her leave the nest.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like stop, just let her. And so yeah, she's messing with this dude and that dude and everything else. And it's just like, yeah. So
you kind of feel some type of way because it's like, you know, I don't like him or I don't like him, you know, but I love you. So I'm gonna support. You know, most definitely, man. I'm currently in one of those situations right now to where somebody that I know, I love you, and I even love the person that you're with, man, as a person. But you know, I don't like certain things that they do or certain tendencies that they do. But because I love you, though, I'm going to support it.
Sometime together,
yeah,
it'd be tumultuous, and then it could just be like it's like when you have like two ingredients in like
water and
a
oil,
recipe.
man.
Yeah, it's like it don't taste good. Like,
nah.
You know, and the sex ain't that good.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Move the fuck on. And some people like that shit. They love the fight, the bicker, the bullshit, and then it's just like they make up and have the sex, and then it's like some good ass sex, and then they just do it all over again. And then that's the definition of insanity. And it's just like it is hella toxic, and you're better off finding someone who you just vibe out, and it's like it's just and you have your needs and your wants and whatever, and like my wife's super chill, bro.
Right.
Like, I could tell her whatever I want. She's like, all right, no problem.
That's dope. See, same.
Sometimes it's like weird. It's like, okay, all right,
isn't it? Bro,
it's like, I feel like
when I first met my girl, I was like, yo, like, I want some kicks, and I want like a couple shirts from this one brand.
Yeah.
Please, like, you know, just don't trip. I was telling her, please don't trip on me, because she always be tripping on me when I buy stuff, because she wants me. She's like my big, you know, money counter.
Okay.
Bro, she was like, I'll just get it for you. And this is when I was like first, like, you know,
shout out.
And I was like, you're gonna get it for me.
That's what's up.
Like, big shout out, man. Like, I was like, that's so crazy. Like, you know, when you meet a lady like that, you know, very supportive, you know, lady or man, you know, very supportive of what you're doing, and, you know, just there to be, you know, there for you. Yo, it's a great time. It's a very peaceful time.
Game changer, bro. Game changer. So I can't believe we're almost at 2 hours, and I really want to.
Can't either. Yeah. So
we talked a little bit about music and whatnot, and obviously you're an artist, and I want to give you in a segment. And I think that is a perfect time for the segment too, because anyone who's still tuning in and listening and watching, obviously they're invested, and now they know a little bit about Dre. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and so now it's like the parasocial relationship, that going deeper in the conversation, and now understanding like who are they getting behind when they actually listen to what you're listening to.
Right.
So like, what was the first like inspirational moment where you're like, I'm an artist?
My first inspirational moment, that definitely had to come from when I was a kid, and like my brother's dad, he did a thing to where he was like making music, and he was in a band too, and he kind of saw like, you know, the musical, you know, type of the musically inclinedness in me, and, you know, obviously he was like, you know, you should get on the track, you know. And I made a song like as a kid, and it was terrible. You know, I'm talking about my dog. I called him Fat Boy. You know, it was like Fat Boy and Tomatoes and stuff. And I was just talking about Fat Boy and Tomatoes the whole song, bro.
Oh my god!
But like, that moment though, like later on, I was like, this is fun. I could do this.
Yeah.
And then, like, the biggest moment that had me like, whoa, was when like, I made a song, right? And shout out to my Brody. He used to go by Young Nash. Now he goes by J Vreel. But
okay.
Shout out, man. Like, I remember when we were first doing music, and he had a music group called Cloud 5. And my Brody Chris, he was telling me like, yo, you should be in it. And I was like, I don't know. You know, I'm nervous. You know, I don't, you know, getting into new things, that used to be a big thing for me. Like, you know, I'm kind of nervous. I like, you know, I kind of like being safe.
Yeah.
But I did it anyway. You know, Nash, he was the leader at the time, J Vreel. So my nigga, Jay, he was like, yo, bro, I need you to like make a song, and like,
that's what's up.
Like, make it in like, you know, the next like day or two. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what you can do, you know, and I can let you in the group. And the song was terrible, but like, bro, he saw the potential in me, and I was like, "Oh snap! Okay, so I can, I'm in, and I got in the group, and that was probably one of the main moments that had me like, oh, okay,
Okay.
I can be an artist.
That's
Like,
what's up. That's what's
people
up.
can like my stuff.
Congratulations.
Yeah, man.
Liftoff right there, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah,
It's crazy when other people see that in you.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, man. I was like, to this day, I'd be like, Brody is one of the main people that had me get into this. Like,
Yeah.
forever and ever, I will always say, bro, Jay Real, you are one of the dudes who got me really into staying with my music and really seeing that I could really like hop in the craft and be something with the craft, because I
That's
always
what's
thought
up.
rappers and stuff were so cool and so far away from me though, because they had a
Yeah.
certain persona or a certain like
Yeah.
personality about them that I couldn't obtain. And I was like, after that day when
Mm.
he told me like, bro, you're in the group, bro,
Real talk.
I was like, all right, bet, bet. So
Hey,
yeah,
that was the Lord of top saying, like,
yes sir,
speaking through him, saying
yes
like, "You
sir,
got this, like,
yep,
let's go."
yep,
And it
yep,
was cool because you had it was the counterbalance. Like, you had that opposite of like, "I'll never be there. It's so far away."
yeah.
But then someone said like, "Bro, like let's do this.
Let's
Try
do
this
it.
out. What's
Yeah,
up?"
exactly,
And so now, how
exactly.
how long has it been since you've been producing and just rapping and
Yeah.
beats and like everything?
Yeah, for sure. It's been about 2.5 years now, going on
Okay.
3. You know, definitely. I started when I was 16.
Okay.
And I. Oh wow, no. So it's been
Hey,
about
four
three
year,
and a half
three to
years,
almost
going
four
on
years.
4. Wow. Okay, I didn't even know that myself. Wow. Yeah. So yeah, I
Hey,
did.
there you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
that's crazy.
Self-reflection, bro, is dope.
Dope. It really is,
Sometimes
man.
you do need to sit down. I employ any of you guys, like,
Yeah.
sit down and just like give yourself a second just to reflect.
Yes, yes, for sure. Yeah, because you, like I said, you will really amaze yourself at some of the things that you were able to achieve,
Yeah.
and a lot of the stuff that like you've already done. Like now, I didn't even notice. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
That like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Wow, I'm actually like 3.5 years
yeah.
into making music. That's so crazy. You know what I'm saying? So that's very dope. But um, my bad, bro. What you
You're
say?
good.
What
So
was the
3.5
question?
years in,
Yeah,
and so when you, I'll just go to the next question. It's good because you pretty much already answered it.
yeah.
So when you do the production, like, are you doing the beats? You're doing the lyrics. You're doing everything.
So I have my bro, Bo LOL, shout out.
Okay.
He does
Shout out.
the beats, and he does the mixing and stuff like that. I
That's
am
what's
now
up.
getting into mixing and engineering.
Okay. Okay. Let's go.
I
Let's
see
go.
him
Let's
do
go. Let's
it,
go.
and I'm like, okay,
I see it.
I can be able to do it a little bit,
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
That's
Maybe,
what's up.
so I be trying out, with the EQ and stuff, but
Yeah.
definitely my dog Bo LOL, he definitely gets, the mixing and the beats done. And then,
Yeah.
I have also other producers, Cosmic, shout out to Cosmic. He's
Let's
a
go.
great producer down in Arizona, man.
Okay.
Amazing, just, all around, very fun guy. Has worked with Futuristic before.
Okay.
Has worked with, other cats like Vavrix Owens, Forever Hughes, K Loud,
That's what's up.
a lot of dudes down here, shout out, definitely guys who, I've looked at as like, hey, what I'm saying, I can be in a space with you guys, and be able to do stuff like this too. So
I love that.
yeah,
I love
shout
that
out
for
for
you, bro.
sure. Shout
That's
out for
what's
sure.
up.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then, so 2.5, no, 3.5. So how many songs you got an album out already? How many songs you have? What does it look
So
like?
in these 3.5 years, I have been able to put out, what is it, 5 EPs. I
Let's
have,
go.
but I technically say 4, because one of them I just count it as like, a part 2 to a little EP that I was doing at
Okay.
that time.
Okay.
But technically, I have put out 5 EPs on SoundCloud.
That's what's
And
up.
then, I ventured off into doing everything on, Spotify,
Yeah. Yeah.
Apple Music, and all of that. And when I got into that, I made this mixtape called Fog Brain. And I was
Mm.
very heavily into smoking weed, very heavily.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I was a big dude on, Arizona is now legalizing marijuana.
Yep.
So now, why not just make some songs for people who do this? You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
It got legalized when we first came out here because it was legal in California, and then
Yeah.
we came out here, we're like, oh shit, it's coming with us.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's
Yeah.
like, like it was just so swag to be able to have like, a good like persona to be able to go off of
Yeah.
on something that I've just been doing since, high school, So
Mm.
like, made Fog Brain, dropped it, and that did pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Some of the songs have already cracked over a K. So, shout out
Nice.
and thank you to everybody who's been
Let's
listening.
go.
Shout out, thank you so much. And, just, from there, really just been going off of that. Uh we are heading over to our sixth, EP or sixth project,
Okay.
second
Okay.
mixtape.
Okay.
I'm calling it Trap Eli. You know what I'm saying? It's
Okay.
basically just my persona of me being not arrogant, but you know, it's the young, ignorant side of, you know, like my generation, and then
Okay.
me also putting out real lyrics into those too. You know, so I'm
Ooh.
incorporating a lot of
Let's go.
young turn stuff with, you know, a lot of, you know, good nice lyrics. You know, talking about God and some stuff. You know, talking about real stuff, like, you know, how, you know, your bro will really be caught up with your girl and stuff, and, you know, your bro will, you know,
Yep.
sometimes be caught up too much in his head, or sometimes, you know, your shawty is too much of a talker. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. So
I
Trappy Light
like
is
that.
really just about, you know, young blissfulness, you know, definitely young blissfulness, to where, you know, you're just in bliss as a young person. You know, you're going out having fun, you know, mosh pits, all of that. You know, that's definitely what this tape was about, you know, for sure.
That's what's up. I like
Yeah.
that's what with you think about like actresses and actresses and actress, and like you like it's like they become this character, and it's like when you think about an artist is like, it doesn't matter if you're painting or you're making music,
Exactly.
like it's artistry,
Yeah.
and the way that you articulate your art, and it could be like a persona of yourself,
Right.
it could be a time and place of something that you're going through,
Exactly. Yeah.
and then like that's totally fine because that's like that's just you and that time, and that's awesome. So
Right.
I'm glad that you're embracing that too, because at the end of the day, it's like there has to be a catalyst to go from point A to point B,
Yes.
and you seem like that catalyst to start to help people go into a new direction
Thank you, man. Thank you.
from what we had seen before, like we talked about earlier in the show.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
Just all the
Appreciate it.
drugs and the sex and the alcohol and all the
Yeah.
things, like, look at me, my mansion and whatever.
Yeah.
And so I applaud you for that
Thank you, man. Thank you so
with
much.
the applause.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes.
And let's have a little like experience, little session real quick. Let's envision.
Yeah.
Now let's hear from, I want you to imagine, and let's hear from your future self.
Okay.
What does your future self tell you and your present self right now on the Liftoff Experience? How are things looking? Let's imagine your life. Let's imagine where you're at. And we could say, imagine where you're at from your future self. We'll say 5 years.
Okay. Okay.
5 years. What'll it look like in 5 years for you?
So if I'm definitely talking to my future self, and in 5 years, I know
Yeah.
for sure he's telling
So
me,
this is Dre 5 years now. You're 25. What's up?
yep, 25 years old.
What's up, 25-year-old?
I'll definitely. Oh, actually, I should be 26 because I turned 21 this
There
year.
you
I
go,
just turned 21 in
26.
like a
All right.
month or so. So
All
yeah,
right. Shout out. Happy birthday, too.
thank you, man,
Yeah,
thank
for
you.
sure.
So, 26-year-old man, what are you telling me? Don't be so nervous. Do not be, you know, nervous at all. Don't don't you know? I know for a fact that he's telling me, don't go off to the trends that other people and other, you know, like personalities
Mm,
are, you know, going off of, and, you know, don't try to hop on the same wave that some other people are doing. It's okay to
mm,
be authentic, and it is okay to be yourself. Try out new things. Don't be afraid to post that content. Don't be afraid to post that video, that song. Don't be afraid to say that lyric on that song. Don't be afraid to, you know, express yourself, because at the end of the day, all we have really, you know, as human beings, really, and in this earth, you know, that is valid, that nobody can take away from us, is our expression. You know, our expression and what we feel. You know, nobody can be able to take that away from us. So I know for a fact my future self is telling me, for real, don't be nervous, always express yourself, and, you know, stay authentic. Stay authentic, man. For sure. For
Let's
sure.
go,
That was
bro.
that was really like that was really like good. I had to really think about that, you know, like in
Yeah.
5 years, what am I gonna be telling myself? Because I do see myself in 5 years, like, you know, I'm already doing hella shows, man. I'm already, you know,
You
out,
full
you
time?
know, tour, yeah, full
Let's
time,
go.
you know, on tour, you know, doing things with merches, with other merch makers, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
doing things with, you know, other businesses, sponsorships, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm just with all of that, man. That's where I really see myself in 5 years, you know, really staying consistent and doing what I gotta do. Seriously.
And don't be a sellout.
Exactly.
That's the
Yeah.
first thing that came to my mind when you were
Exactly.
saying all that shit. I was like,
Hmm.
oh, don't be a sellout. And
Exactly.
and I,
Yeah.
and I love that for you, bro. And I like the fact that we just encapsulated that.
Yeah.
It's now been recorded. It's encapsulated. Your future self could look back at this and
Yeah.
be like, damn, I called that shit right there.
Yeah, man.
Like
That's
that
so crazy.
happened.
Yeah.
All right, so we're 2 hours in, and drop us a bar, bro. For anything that comes to your mind, just drop us a quick little bar, and after the bar is done, we're done.
Yo, I want to get a good one for y'all.
It's crazy, bro. It's like when you think about your brain, you're like
Mm-hmm.
going through all the files and shit.
All of that, bro. All of that. All of that. Okay. A really good one, since I like this poster. Do not encage yourself to the circle that you are at right now. Do not, like, do not encase yourself in the environment that you are at right now. Allow yourself to be able to branch out to new opportunities, and allow yourself to be able to talk to new people. The trust issues that you may have, or the feeling inside of doubt or fear, you have to be able to conquer that. Pray about it, work out about it, do whatever you got to do, but you have to be able to conquer that, to be able to go on to new adventures, to be able to enjoy new places, to be able to enjoy new things, because anything worth having is not easy to get at. It really isn't anything worth it. All the easy stuff that we're able to obtain, we definitely find out probably a week later that this wasn't that worth it. But all the hard stuff that you have been able to conquer, and when you look back at all the hard stuff that you've been able to be like, yeah, I conquered that, for a fact that to this day it still has an impact on you. And that's what you want to do in life. You want to be able to have an impact not only on yourself, but on your family, your kids, your friends, future people that you're going to be able to call your family and your friends, all of that. You want to be able to have an impact on all of them. So do not encase yourself. Stay vigilant, stay fun, stay, adventurous, and, stay safe. Most definitely. Most definitely.